So,
Good evening,
hello.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back
I've been
to
sitting there.
Echo and Sun Show Conspiracy Theory Iceberg, where we talk about conspiracies, hidden truths, philosophies, and things such as with these people you see here.
You want to introduce everybody, Sport?
Yeah, you have Bear, uh, cool
The
guy.
Gen X GM.
Yeah, Bear the Gen X GM. You have Raven. She likes a lot. She likes cats. And then that's it. There's no one else on the show.
That's Raven McMahon from 1-2 Radio. We'll try to put a link in this time. I think we forgot last time, but you can find her over on 1-2 Radio. When, Raven?
Wednesdays at 7 Pacific.
No.
And nice intro, Raven. Nice intro.
Oh. Well,
Raven just yelling, I'm here! Hey, Raven, I've been thinking about your tech problems since the last time we spoke, and I think you're on a bad ley line, and you should immediately, douse your house or move it to another location.
Yeah, I've thought about that. Yeah.
Why am I not surprised you have? There's zero amounts of surprise in
I
me.
have smudged it. I've smudged it, and it works for a couple days. I'm in my kitchen because I have this marauding pack of raccoons that know how to break into my back door now. And while I was during my game last night, they came in and they ripped up 12 packets of oatmeal, and there's oatmeal everywhere, just everywhere. The night before that, they got into some trash and strewn it through the entire house. So, yeah, it's the cats are not a problem. It's the raccoons now.
Do you own a gun?
I have just a little BB rifle, air rifle.
No. A real gun that will solve the raccoon problem.
No, I do not. I do not have one.
Well, then, you get what you pay for.
I'm looking at a crossbow. I think I'll get one of those.
What?
A crossbow.
Yeah, Illinois is really difficult with guns and gun laws, and they want to. They're changing them. Yeah, it's difficult. It's just.
Please don't get a crossbow, Raven.
Huh?
Please don't get a crossbow. You're just going to hurt yourself.
Well, that may be true. So. They're kind of cool.
I recommended against it as well because it's not like in the movies. It will haunt you and give you nightmares with the noises you'll hear.
Well, they're neat. They're medieval, and I like medieval stuff. I have swords, and I have a battle mace and stuff like that, and double-headed sword. Not that, if nothing else would look cool on the wall, even if I don't have to use it. No. Okay. So,
yeah, just call animal control. Just call animal control, please.
Oh, but they want to bill you. They probably charge me $30 a head, and there's 8 of them.
Animal control charges?
They do here for raccoon removal.
Not in Canada. They just come get them.
So I've got a couple traps, but they'll probably just find their way back here, and I'll probably just end up trapping cats.
All right. Well,
anyway,
I believe.
Well, let's get on to the woo-woo.
Bring on the woo! Oh yeah.
All right. So.
What's up, Crafting? What's up, Mac? Just wanted to say hi to the folks in chat. I'll take care of that for you, Sport. You do your thing, and I'm just in the background rolling dice or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a couple of disclaimers, I guess. Obviously, some we cut for reasons that they're not too interesting, whatever. But more importantly, there is a couple of these, quite a few, that are less of conspiracy theories and more concepts being introduced that apply to later conspiracy theories. That's a big thing that we should have emphasized more last time, because we'll get to something that's like, okay, this is just a concept. Like, it's not really a debated issue. Some absolutely are. And so those are the two kinds of things that we have. We have things that are concepts that are um, not really debatable. It's not like is this other than like does it apply, but you know some of those I probably won't go around that long for each of you because it's like okay, just what do you think of the idea? It's not really do you think it's real or not. And I think that's really it. So the reason I say that is because the first one is one of those kind of lucid dreaming. Some people can control and are aware of their dreams, and a lot of people have some theories as to whether or not there is some deeper spiritual meaning behind that, or if it's just dream that you are aware of happening while it's happening. Um, I suppose there are some theories that like, oh, if you lucid dream, you can like control reality through those dreams, or like if you lucid dream, it influences the real world than what you do, or influences like what happens around you. Given that facial expression, I want to hear your thoughts on the whole.
Poppycock. Hey, what's up, nerds? Long time no see.
I don't believe in lucid dreaming. I think it's complete nonsense. And the idea that you can control reality through your dreams is the same as saying, I manifested things by wanting them, and the universe gave them to me. People are full of shit. They like to make themselves seem self-important, and they have never proven shit. Until we can record dreams and actually be able to see what the person is dreaming, we will never be able to prove lucid dreaming. So it's just one asshole telling another asshole something and hoping they believe them. That's my take on it. Go ahead and disagree with me. That's fine.
I totally disagree with you. You've obviously never
You
had
do. Of course you do, because I live in reality and you live in Oz. Go ahead.
I'm also going to disagree with you, but I want Raven to go first because it'll be
Well,
funnier.
you maybe someday you'll have a lucid dream and then you'll understand. Fair, but lucid dream basically is when you become aware in your dream that you are dreaming, and then
Yes.
you can consciously direct the dream. So if you want to have a flying dream, then you can just raise up and go flying, so on and so forth. Now, as far as being able to manifest while you're lucid dreaming and having that come into your reality, I don't know anything about that. I've not had experience with that. And I don't know many people that have, but I suppose it's possible. I don't know, but lucid dreaming is fun. There are some people that can do it every night, and they just go on these adventures. They say, hey, I'd like to see the inside of the pyramid tonight. And they go to lucid dreaming. They go right over there to Egypt. There's
And you have proof of any of this?
There is some proof where
Really? What kind?
Where the two people, one goes to sleep, the other one like writes something on a piece of paper. One that's asleep determines that he's going to go to that guy's house and then see what he wrote on that piece of paper, and then go back, wake up.
Oh, bullshit! Bullshit!
Yeah.
That's a sucker born every minute and two to take them right there. But anyway, all right, keep going.
How else could you prove it? I mean,
you can't. That's the point. You can't prove it.
Other people even exist.
Exactly. There we go.
It's just like an experience some people have. It doesn't. I don't think it really means. I don't think it means anything in particularly.
So much like every person I've met who is a witch and a practicing warlock, it's amazing how not together and their lives are a complete mess all the lucid dreamers I've met have been. Like, it's amazing how these people have these amazing, fantastic skills over the universe, but they can't pay their bills, or they can't maintain rent, or they can't keep a job. But they're so amazing at everything else. When you're aware you're dreaming, 9 times out of 10 you wake up. You go, oh, I'm having a dream, shit, and then you wake up. Sometimes it might go a few minutes more. But this idea of the silent lucidity, we're going on an adventure through time and space in your mind while you're asleep, I don't buy it.
That gets into astral travel and also gets into remote viewing, so there's a fine line there. But lucid dreaming, yeah, it is a real thing.
I think there's a difference between saying, oh yeah, I sometimes when I dream I can figure out I'm dreaming and I can like continue the dream past that, and saying, oh yeah, when I dream I can change reality through that. I think there's a big difference there.
Not belittling her. This is how Raven and I interact, Mac. If I felt Raven was upset, she would tell me, and I would apologize for being mean to her. This is how Raven and I play.
Yeah, it's all good. I can't see the chat room. I don't know what. Maybe I get it here on my laptop.
Anyways, now that all the 2 guests I have here have spoken, let's move on to the next one.
Wow, Shadow, you're in the doghouse tonight. What's going on?
Well, set the shit up. Yeah, Mac. Don't worry, we're all friends here. Here's the thing. I've had some dreams, and they've come true. One in particular, Raven and Jackie know about. When I was a kid, I dreamt that the next day we were going to the gun show, which in fact we were, and I dreamed that I found a Flying Tiger's arm patch. The next day, guess what I found? Now you can take it or leave it, not believe me or not. I could go rummage through my boxes and drag it out. I'll send you a photo. But that's not lucid dreaming. So there is something weird
That's more of a
going on in the
premonition.
dream, but I don't know exactly what it is. And if I could, market it, I would.
That's more of a premonition.
Yeah,
Precognitive
no, I just wanted to put there's something weird about dreaming. I don't understand it. But I'm kind of open-minded to some stuff, but it's okay, Mac. We all get scared once in a while. It's just, and as for lucid dreaming, I've had a couple instances where I knew I was dreaming, but then I just rolled with it anyways. I never tried to, steer it in a direction, but that's my 2 cents.
All right. Now on to MK Ultra. Obviously, we've basically been confirmed that the CIA did a bunch of shady things regarding hypnosis and drugs and stuff, and things such as back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically been confirmed that it happened. Most conspiracies relating to it now is that it was much worse than what they said it was, or that it's still going on to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in a city that was an MK Ultra test site, so yeah. The Royal Victoria Hospital, they did a whole bunch of stuff over there. And it's not a conspiracy, that's just fact.
Yeah. Agreed.
Ditto.
Well, a few times we're going to agree, huh?
Well, Raven, don't count your blessings yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stranger
We'll
things
get
that
onto
happen.
some esoteric garbage, and then you'll be all like, I absolutely believe in tattoo manifestation, and it'll be fun.
The world is just not as boring as you think it is, Barrett. There's a
Oh,
lot.
the world is boring, darling.
Yeah, it's far too short.
It's a lot more magical.
yeah.
I suppose
Magical.
the conspiracy theory would be if it's still going or not.
Of course it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not going to admit.
Like the old expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever heard, Jackie, you're a young fella, have you ever heard the expression temporary government program?
I haven't heard that phrase as used as like expression, but
So whenever the government says it's a temporary program, you have now developed a new branch of government or a new division that will continue on forever, sucking tax dollars into it. Same thing. So MK Ultra, that's not going away. They just moved it. Hit it better.
Right.
Yeah.
They had a lot of success, man. They had a lot of success with it. Why would you give up something that's successful?
Exactly.
right. Shadwo.
Oh yeah. Like I said, if it had even a modicum of success, they would just dump more money into it and keep it running. And God only knows what they actually perfected, or at least discovered, and God only knows what they're still doing. But I guarantee you, they didn't just give that up.
Yeah. All right. On to fluoride dangers. Government puts fluoride in the water for a bunch of reasons, and some people think that it's actually like mind control or poison or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Bear.
There's a big difference between fluoride in the water and sodium fluoride, which is used as a truth serum. They're very different beasts, and this is where we get into the danger of chemicals, which is a lot of chemicals share common naming, but there's different sort of structures of those chemicals, and there's different combinations of those chemicals. I'm trying to think of the one. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Sodium being a base, right? Sodium being something you can attach other things to easy. So sodium pentothal, sodium fluoride, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the fluoride we use to fight teeth is not the same fluoride that is injected into prisoners to make them spill the beans, right? It's a different chemical combination. So the fluoride in your mouth in your water, I highly doubt is allowing the government to control you when there's a godforsaken black box in everybody's living room that all their furniture points at that does a much fucking better job of it. Just saying.
Well, all right, fluoride, which is one of the number one ingredients in rat poison, interestingly enough. This whole fluoride in the water system was developed by the Nazis to make a more compliant public.
Citation.
And what it does is it calcifies your pineal gland.
That comes up later.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Your pineal gland looks like a little pine cone or whatever. Kind of sits right in the middle between the two hemispheres and back a little ways.
No wonder my
Right
brain's
next to
always
here.
itching.
It's kind of like right here through the third eye and back. Okay, that is a point of your psychic abilities, your intuition, kind of the seed. They call it your phone home to God. It's that point, that still point that you try to reach in meditation. But when that's calcified, you have a very difficult time. It's also your truth detector, your internal lie detector system is there. But it's the seat of your intuition. With that calcified, you're more hindered in that way. You can't reach your intuition, or any of your develop your psychic abilities very easily. And someone's going to argue with me.
I've heard everything you've said, but I don't know where to get the proof one way or the other. It's one of those things.
Go to Greg Braden is one, and Dr. Bruce Lipton. What's the other one?
You can send me a link later. I can't do anything with that information other than just shabbily write it down and maybe one of these days come across the note and go, what's this? Send me a link.
All right.
I'll tell you what, I will write fluoride here.
Yeah. Dr. Bruce Lipton has done a lot with the DNA. He's the one who's discovered the a lot of the genetic how to rewrite your genes so that you're not a victim of them. Like if you've got a history of say alcoholism in your family, and it gets into you that you can do some work, and then you're not going to be susceptible to be an alcoholic also, because that stuff is passed down through your genes. He's done an enormous amount of work with the genes and the brain and so forth. Anyway, yeah, I'll send you a link. But that fluoride thing, it's a real thing. And the thing is, fluoride doesn't do shit for your teeth. I got into it with my dentist over this.
Of course not. Never.
It doesn't. In fact, it's
just some random shit they put in the wall.
It's bad for your teeth.
Excessive amounts of fluoride is bad for your teeth. Yes, it's called hyperfluoridization, and it's not the problem of the chemical company, of the chemical itself. It's the problem of fucking advertisers showing us to put a big flip of toothpaste on our brush when all we need is the size of a pea, at best. Right?
They used to come around the schools here and give us fluoride treatments, and it was purple, and you'd have to sit there and brush it all over, and it was like,
well, clearly it didn't work on you because you are not at all susceptible. You are the biggest skeptic I know. You think everything through carefully before you believe in it.
I researched this, though. When I heard about this, I thought it was crazy. But I've done a lot of research into most all of these things for my radio show.
Okay, but the thing is that causation, there's a correlation is not causation. So like the fact that tracking areas that use fluoridated water, the IQs are lower, there could be a bajillion factors involved in that reasoning of lowered IQ, from the education standards in those areas to, garbage teachers. It doesn't have to mean it's fluoride causing the problem.
Well, just the fact that it was invented, the whole concept was invented by the Nazis, brings it under suspicion.
Oh, wow, Brock.
You think they cared about the cavities in their general public? I doubt it. No.
Well, I mean, not to play the part of Justin, but Hitler was famously super super uptight about everything health. He was one of the first people to ban smoking, so it wouldn't surprise. Like I'm not saying anything good about him in any other aspect, but that it wouldn't surprise me if he found out like, oh, the fluoride causes teeth to be better, and he would just obsess over something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me. Um,
Well,
do
here's
you
a
forget
statistic
what
in
with
No,
breastfeeding mothers.
Brock. With all due respect, you're just spouting stuff. There's no citations. There's no proof. So me not buying it at face value does not mean I'm going to read about it later. So don't dismiss me because I'm not immediately going, absolutely, Brock, you're 100% correct. You understand? We have to use our brains in these procedures. We just can't believe everything we hear. We have to go and research and find the information ourselves and learn. That's why conspiracy theories are so dangerous, because they're so tasty. A lot of people don't even bother going beyond the surface level, and then they believe some real bullshit things about the world. When there's plenty of bullshit in the world we should be focusing on that we're not, because we're too distracted by this kind of stuff. Because this is way more tasty than the real stuff we want to deal with. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm not looking away. I'm not dismissing you. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm going to have to look this stuff up and see if it's actual peer-reviewed science or if it's just some guy had a theory and now the internet's turned it into something. That's all, man. But you go ahead and do you and think what you want about me. We don't know each other, so that's cool.
No, well, Brock's a regular around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, congratulations, Brock. Maybe I was doing other things with my life as opposed to looking up all the basic nitty-gritty on fluoride. There's things I know that you don't know. That's how the world works, man. This is my problem with the community of believers. You guys get into these echo chambers where everybody agrees with each other on everything, and then it goes back and forth like a ping pong ball. You got to step outside the box and just look around, see other stuff going on. Anyway, let's keep going, please. I'm looking forward to something else.
all right, this one should be fun until it gets to me. Cicada 3301. I don't know if you guys know this one.
I know it.
You do? Okay. Back in I believe 2014.
It was late 2010s, mid 2010s. Yeah.
Yeah, in the mid to late 2010s, there was this group that went around 4chan and places like that with a bunch of these puzzles that were super complex and super.
Oh, look who's here! My favorite human.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Just one of my favorite people on the internet's wandered in.
Oh.
Here, I'm going to turn my mic down for everybody so that way I'm not yelling. Because if you want to hear me yell, I will, and then your ears will bleed, and you'll know what yelling is.
Now, I'm the same way there. I get accused of yelling when, trust me.
That's okay. Small people like to make small claims so that way they can feel like big people. Anyway, so Cicada. We were talking about Cicada, which was a really neat thing.
Yeah. They went around with these tests. The first and second ones were completed, and the third one was this massive book that no one has fully decrypted yet.
Well, that we know of.
True, it's possible that someone has, but we don't know. There is no official translation out there.
Yeah, some people have theorized that the third book, when translated, immediately meant that person was getting sucked up into an organization for being able to decode it, and therefore, the funneling was finished, and they've got the people they need. Who knows? We don't know because we're not the people that started the Cicada thing. At the end of the day, is it a psyop? Could be. Is it corporate stuff? Could be. Who knows? Who knows? That's my theory on it.
I'm just bummed that this wasn't a thing when my old man was alive, because he was really good at that sort of thing. I would have loved to see him take a crack at it, but then, they would have scooped him up and,
Did you ever watch any of the documentaries about it, where they basically break down what the tests were and how they were solved and stuff like that? Really fascinating. Like, it's a very specific type of autistic mind that can crack these codes. Like, no jokes. Like, I'm not even like remotely trying to be like funny about that. They've discovered that it takes a very specific type of mindset that tends to exist in the autism spectrum to crack these codes.
Sorry, I was laughing at Mac and Cal.
Yeah, Max, I like Mac.
I don't know. one of these days, we might hear something, but I think they got what they wanted and they're done. You'll never
That's
hear
my
another thing about it. And hopefully they were working for the good guys,
Yeah, we can only
I
hope.
know. I realized as soon as I said that.
I have some information about them that I don't like, but
Which
Raven,
is?
you go first, because
Sorry.
Raven,
Yes or
do you have anything to say about them?
no? No, go. I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, while this could straight up be a psyop, it could be like false information spread out there. There was supposed leaks from like that were sent out that were supposedly confirmed. Like there was a bunch of people that corroborated it, and like people had like the same thing. So it's a lot of people consider it to be confirmed. At the same time, it could just be like a massive psyop that they got. Like once they got into the group, it was just like a bunch of Reddit atheists, effectively. Not in the atheism sense, but in the mentality, and that they were just a bunch of, I guess, loser like wannabe anonymous type groups. And that's what like the way that they end up like speaking in some of the more internal documents supposedly. Again, if they're real, it basically means that they are a complete joke, like a psyop, whatever. Um, Either that, or it was just all a lie, and it's some big government thing of some kind, or
Mm-hmm.
corporate, something like that. So it's either super up there, and they put out false information to hide what it really is, or it's just a bunch of losers.
Okay. I found one. I think is one of those throw off topics. We haven't got to it yet.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know.
All right, the next one. I remember, Bear, you mentioned this last time we did this. So I really want to hear what you have to say about it. Admiral Byrd. Um,
It's a fun one. It's a fun one.
Shadow, why don't you explain this one?
Admiral Byrd was tasked with either supposedly, I guess, looking for secret Nazi bases at the North and South Pole. And when he got there, he found supposedly crazy things, entrances into the center of the Earth, UFO aliens and spaceships and all kinds of crap. And for me, it just sounds like it's just like apparently, someone was a huge fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs. Double thumbs up for that. Convincing people over the years that was in fact the case. Biggest practical joke ever, or something really, really scary. And I guess we'll have to go to the Antarctica one or revisit that one because there's enough weirdness surrounding that on its own to fill several dozen books.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, George?
Yeah.
Well, he
Hi,
went
George.
down there with. He went down to Antarctica with like 66 or 68 ships. I mean, he had a small little armada with him. They were convinced that the Nazis were doing something down there, and they got their butts kicked by these flying saucers that came up out of the water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went to both the north and south there, Mac.
Yeah, he went
I
to the
could be
north.
wrong.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did, but
I think
the
like one
north
of the
he was
first
by
people to fly
himself.
over the North Pole.
Huh? I'm sorry.
I said he was like the first person to fly over the North Pole or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's got some record for the North Pole.
And the story goes that as he was approaching the hole, that a tractor beam locked onto his craft and brought him inside and gently landed it. And he talked to some ETs that live inside the Earth, and they were telling him to tell the surface people, us, to take better care of our planet, yada yada yada. And that's how that started.
Are you talking about the journal that was like real supposedly leaked?
Yeah. The journal.
Because the journal is
Fake.
He went to
Fake
the
as
North
fuck.
Pole before he went to the South Pole.
So we're conflating two different things. We're talking about his Arctic journal versus his Operation High Jump. Those are two different beasts.
Yeah.
Anyway, the journal was proven fake. It's not his. compared to other writings. The handwriting doesn't match, the vernacular doesn't match, his word use doesn't match. It's not him. He did not write it. Someone else wrote it pretending to be him. Now, could we have a theory that it was written by someone he told the story to? Sure, why not? But there is no proof that there was a hole in the Arctic and he went down and met the elevated masters and all this fun stuff with UFOs that came out of the water. It's that's sci-fi channel stuff. That's not real. Operation High Jump, we'll never know, because what Operation High Jump was classified on so many levels by the Department of Defense and things like that. We have to make up stories as to why they're there, because we don't know what was going on, based other than the upfront story that it was for cold weather training for the Navy and the stuff like that. They did lose people. People did die on Operation High Jump. Not as many as conspiracy theorists like to make light of, and the operation was cut short. But that's about all the facts we have. Everything else is speculation, hearsay, and
he had to sign a non-disclosure agreement upon his return back home.
Could be.
So
I'm also pretty sure that was why he got that Operation High Jump was why he got the Medal of Honor. I believe, like he got it right afterwards, though theoretically it could have been for other things.
Not sure there, Mac. Not sure at all. Yeah, ditto, Cal. Smells like bullshit. It's probably bullshit, and if not, it's some other kind of shit.
I mean, there's certainly something happened. The journal's fake. It's kind of ridiculous. I read some portions of it. I'm not claiming to have read the whole thing or anything. But I do think something happened.
What was your take there, Raven?
Well, I really think that Project High Jump was they were aware of the Nazis being there, because the English had confirmed that to them, to our government, that the Nazis were there. And we know in Antarctica there are many caverns underneath the ice that are very temperate. You can wear a pair of shorts. There's actually green stuff growing in there. You can live. They've got entire, bases supposedly underneath there. Some whistleblowers recently were there and confirmed the same thing. So you've got, because of it's a very volcanic island or landmass, whatever you want to call Antarctica, and so there's lots of these volcanic tunnels for lava flow, and all that stuff in there has got it heated up. But there's like 30 feet of ice above you, so it's not melting anytime soon. So you can have a whole civilization going on underneath there. But the English are the ones that determined that the Nazis were there, and they were doing something, gearing up to do something nefarious, and they contacted the United States government then, and then that's when Project High Jump went into motion. With Admiral Word at the lead, so.
Real quick, Raven, you want to address this question before we move on?
But do the ley lines have anything to do with the magnetic poles? Well, yeah, they do. I mean,
funny you should ask.
It's all connected. It's all connected. Our planet is electromagnetic, and so those electromagnetic electric line, it runs in ley lines. It's like we run telephone wire, or they run electricity to your house through a big cable. The energy runs in lines. So, yeah, the magnetic poles, they've been talking about the poles getting ready to flip because magnetic north has moved. And we're due for a pole flip, or north becomes south and south becomes north. And if that happens to us, holy God, you bend over and...
I've heard of stuff like that happening. I'm pretty sure it's happened before.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next one, weather control. More specifically, HARP, a American base in Alaska that several people, including one notable person who has some baggage behind them, to put it very lightly, has accused of being a weather control station that
Hmm.
America uses to interfere around the world with weather and things such as.
HARP stands for High Frequency Active Aerial Research Program, and they have been blamed for a lot of weather phenomena, we'll say. Go ahead, Bear.
What I literally have no opinion on the HARP thing. It's real. It's measurable. It's demonstrable. We've seen it. We've seen the results of it. You start messing around with the upper atmosphere, you're going to start getting results. That's just the way it goes. When you start jamming high frequency, high heat into the stratosphere, you're going to get results, and those results may cause weather patterns. Now, can they selectively control it? Clearly not, because we still have shit weather all over the world. But they're trying. They're trying real hard. I'll give them that one.
Do you think they could cause earthquakes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure can.
That's
Absolutely.
the one that I've been waiting for, is the earthquake one, because it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we had an earthquake not just today, but about a week ago. We had another like 4 point somethings. I didn't feel a dang thing.
You had a 4.6 today, didn't you, in LA?
I think so.
Mhm.
And I live on the San Andreas Fault line, so keep your fingers crossed.
Well, depending what side you live on, you might have some beachfront property for sale.
Yeah. HARP is a real thing. HARP has been accused of modifying the weather over certain country, blackmailing certain countries into, approving or disapproving whatever their demands are, and making sure that it doesn't rain and that their crops then fail, or it rains too much and then their country is flooded. Gets into all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't put it past our government to do something like that.
Well, I wouldn't put
Blackmail.
it past them.
I wouldn't put anything past them at this point after what I've seen in the last couple of years. It's ridiculous, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go
See
down.
what we did to Guatemala and
Yeah.
Honduras and Mexico and basically all of Latin America. It's not good. I say
Yeah.
we, I say you, but whatever.
I ain't done anything. I haven't been there in decades.
I
And you can't prove nothing, man.
You have been alive for thousands of years. You were probably there. I will say that one of the most notable people who have talked about HARP being weather control is Hugo Chavez, who was one of the main guys saying that they was responsible for the earthquakes. I don't know if that gives him more or less credibility. I mean, Hugo Chavez was a famous doer of many things, most of them not very good. So take that how you will.
Have you ever met a Chavista? Have you ever met one? I have. I worked with one, and she was probably one of the stupidest human beings I've ever met in my life. And she thought the world of Hugo Chavez. Like, thought he was the greatest thing that ever happened to her country. And I found out later why. Her family worked in the energy department for the government. So while Chavez was in power, they were rich. So of course they loved Chavez, right? Because that's the way it works. Now, as for blackmailing other countries with bad weather, why? They don't need to do that. They can put trade embargoes, they can blockade them, they can bomb them into the Stone Age. There's so many other ways they can mess with countries beyond doing weather control.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem with HARP is... HARP,
Nick Begich is someone who keeps an eye on HARP. His father is the congressman who went down in the airplane from Alaska that went missing, and they never did find any remnants of them. Begich. And so a lot of information on HARP that I've got just comes from him.
Isn't that airplane thing usually tied to the Black Pyramid conspiracy instead, though?
Could be.
Pyramid.
It's one of the theories I've heard. Yeah.
The Black
There's a
Pyramid in
no-fly
Alaska.
zone there now.
Yeah.
All right.
That pyramid is active and releasing some type of energy into the air, and they've got a no-fly zone over it. And there's a whistleblower that came out.
If at the front of that sentence, though, if that pyramid is real and doing these things, because there's no proof that the pyramid exists.
There's been quite a few whistleblowers come forward about that pyramid, and I wouldn't doubt it because there's pyramids all over the place. They're all over the entire planet.
It's Mount. What the hell's the name of that mountain? Mount Davis. Is it Mount
Where?
Davis? In Alaska with the Black Pyramid. It's Mount Davis, I think, right? Is that the name of the mountain?
I don't know. I've never heard about
Not ringing a
Davis.
bell.
All right. Let's move on to the next one, if that's all right with you guys.
Not a problem.
All right, next one, a very broad concept: Freemasons. The idea that
Yes,
Freemasons,
they exist.
he's like, do the Freemasons exist? That's not really debatable. The conspiracy theory is their influence in politics. Given their history of having very influential and wealthy members, it is believed that they still control a lot of institutions and world governments and policies and stuff like that.
I think they exert an influence. Look, if it wasn't for the Masons, I don't think America could have survived the revolution, because it was through their lodges and their secret hand signals and stuff like that that we were. Paul Revere was a Mason, for example, and he's the one that ran through the streets. The British are coming. The British are coming. But it was through. They even had a way that. A woman would hang the laundry to let them know where the British were. They invented all of that, and the whole spy network was already laid in place for us then to succeed at the revolution. So we have a little bit of gratitude we need to pay to the Masons and not be so hard on them. I know at the lower levels, it's a good fraternal organization. Now the higher levels, I've heard all kinds of stuff about satanic worship and all these symbols, all this stuff. I don't know, but I do know a Grand Master of the lodge in Indiana, and I'm very good friends with him. And
Nice
yeah, the
nerd.
Masons are not, at least on the local levels, nothing to fear. I'll leave it at that.
Shasta's in California, Mac, not in Alaska. Mount Shasta is the one in California. The one in Alaska, I think it's Mount Davis. I can't find it
I
right now.
believe it is Mount Davis.
Do I believe the Freemasons exert unnecessary control over things? Of course they do. So do Skull and Bones. So do Bilderberg. So do Bohemian Grove. There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of clubs of rich oligarchical people that get together and think they can run the world. Some of them are connected. Some of them are at odds. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason, and he banned my father from joining. And as a result, I was summarily banned from becoming a Mason as well. Not that I ever would be one, because I've seen what goes on and it's nonsense.
Why?
It's just,
Why was he banned? You know?
he didn't ban. My grandfather wasn't banned. He forbid my father from and my uncle from becoming Masons.
Right. You know why?
And he said it was a waste of time and money. Don't waste your time and money. Don't do it. All they do is drink. I have friends who are Masons. All they do is drink all the time. Right? The first 32 degrees are just drinking. It's only the 33rd degree that matters. But when you become 33rd degree in the States, you have to go to the Grand Temple in Washington, and former presidents will be there. Yeah, Scottish Rite, exactly. And there will be former presidents at your ceremony of becoming a 33rd degree Mason. So that's pretty. All the evidence I need to know that Masons have influence in politics is the fact that so many of them have been president.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Kennedy gave a great speech many years ago about secret societies, and that stuck with me. I just can't quote it verbatim. But
Guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Exactly. That's a great speech.
I think the Declaration of Independence, there was 17 of the signers of that were Masons.
Oh yeah, the Masons were everywhere back then, especially in Protestant countries. It was like Masons and the Catholic Church hated each other, but Protestants were much more. Still do.
The Catholic Church hated the Masons.
It goes both ways. Trust me.
Yeah, and until I can form my own secret society, the rest of them suck. Let's move on.
Yeah.
You guys want to join my cult?
No, I can't, because I'm a grand poobah in the Loyal Lodge of Water Buffalo.
Yeah. All right. That's probably enough on the.
We should get a softball game going.
Yeah. All right. Number. Does it matter? Actually, it does. It's the 23 enigma. Just the idea that the number 23 appears more than it statistically should, and some people think that there is a deeper spiritual or something kind of significance to it.
Look,
Now, in numerology, there are lucky numbers and there are not so lucky numbers. And 23 is kind of listed as a not so lucky number. Yeah.
except we have 23 chromosomes. Like the 23 thing is interesting. I've heard mathematicians debunk it, and I've heard statisticians prove it. So I don't know. Do I believe it? Could be. Math's a weird thing. Numbers are weird. You can do crazy stuff with numbers. Study your math, kids. Key to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. I remember the Jim Carrey movie, Once Upon a Time. Kind of wanted to see it, never did. Now, I'll put it on the list. Maybe I'll check it out, but I don't know.
People have proven you can do the same thing with any number for the most part, and you can just prove like this number is really insane because of this and this and this and this and this. It's the nature of mathematics. They're going to surface. Now, does that mean there's nothing to it? Don't know. I sort of don't believe in numerology, though. I believe in that about as much as I believe in phrenology.
Numerology is a really fascinating one, and it's really quite accurate.
We're going to be on opposite sides of that wall again, Raven.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss the numerology thing more, or do we talk about the next one?
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, Agartha. This is this is another sort of introductory concept. While Agartha can refer to specific things, it's usually used to refer to the general concept of Hollow Earth, which could mean just there's massive cave systems with societies and creatures living down there, or that gravity is flipped when you get to a certain thing below the Earth. I've heard that too. So, Bear, we'll start with you.
I can tell my brother by the flowers in his hair out on the road to Shambhala. Look, the Orient has always been a place of complete mystery to the West. During the 18th century, it was accredited with being the masters of mysticism and all types of stuff like that. So anything we find out there can be very interesting. Do I believe in Hollow Earth theory? Not as yet. Do I believe Agartha exists? Not in the way they write about it, but that's because nothing exists the way people write about it. People embellish when they write. They make it sound more interesting. But when we found the underground city in Turkey and things like that, we could see that there were subterranean, not civilizations, but points of civilization, cities, towns, what have you, that existed. There's the ones under Malta, the catacombs under Paris, things like that. There are clear signs within our recorded history, demonstrable, visible, of humans having moved underground. Does that mean there's a Hollow Earth with dinosaurs and a midnight sun and all that other good stuff? No, it doesn't. But what it does mean is that there is a lot of mystery beneath our feet, and there is a lot of people in a lot of places that will not let you go to those places and look around those places for whatever reasons. They usually cite safety as the issue, but it's weird ass stuff. But I don't believe in the Hollow Earth at this point. There's nothing that proves to me Hollow Earth is real.
Yeah, I'm going to chalk it up to either a lot of fanciful thinking or a lot of wishful thinking. It would be cool as hell, but do you really think that if there was such a thing, the powers that be would let anybody go anywhere near it? Of course not.
There are supposedly tunnels up in the Himalayas that led to Agartha, and that in the last cataclysm, Agartha, that part of Agartha, was abandoned, and they went to the inner earth to survive the last cataclysm that was coming. And there are trade records that they have of things that they would trade back and forth, and it doesn't come right out and say it, but it from those records you get the impression that the inhabitants of Agartha were extraterrestrials, or not from here. They were from somewhere else, and they would do a little bit of limited trading twice a year, and there is records of what all they traded in India. So, and Ancient Aliens did a thing on it, and I think they pretty much said the same thing. Only they were very sure of the fact that they were extraterrestrials. I'm on the fence about that, but that they went into inner.
Mac, I'm highlighting everybody's message. So if something's not coming up, that's weird.
Right.
Do you have it set on top chat or do you have it set on live? Mac, set it on live, and that way you see every single one of them. That's probably it.
Wow, tech advice from Raven.
I should give tech advice. I've got enough. I've had every problem under the sun.
Yeah. All right. Shadow, have you gone? On Agartha?
Yeah, I did. If it's there, we're never gonna know. And if we find out, we better keep our mouths shut. The way I figured, keep it to ourselves.
From what I know, there are like 100% pockets of oxygen and of water deep underground, like deeper than any human has ever, or at least officially gone before. And I don't think humans have gone much farther than that. So it is certainly possible that there could exist something down there. Not saying there is. Not really even saying there's not. As far as the whole like flipped gravity thing, no, that's ridiculous. But it is possible that there could be some things living down there. You know what?
Yeah.
Don't know for a fact. It could be like if nothing got down there, there's probably nothing down there. But if something ever did get down there, there's probably a lot down there now.
Yeah.
Nice, Bear. I haven't thought of Three Dog Night in forever.
There you go.
I love that song.
All right, let's get to one that I know you guys are going to have a fun time talking about. At least Raven. Astral projection.
Go ahead, Raven.
Yeah. Astral projection. Yeah, that is a thing. It's where you can project your consciousness while your body stays in bed, when you're in a chair, wherever, and you travel. In the
Talk about the ultimate work from home job, right, folks?
Uh-huh.
And this is kind of what I was talking about when we discussed lucid dreaming. How two friends of it kind of gets into remote viewing. Also, remote viewing is actually like astral projecting your consciousness to another place and observing what is going on, and then bringing that information back. And they have certain protocols that you follow, and they say they can teach anybody how to do that remote viewing. But astral projections, where you are either voluntarily or not voluntarily taking your spirit out, leaving your body here. You're tethered by a silver cord. They say, I've never seen it, but anyway, and you go travel. You meet other people. You go to other dimensions. You go to other planets. You can go anywhere you want to go while your body sleeps. And you've had I'm sure everyone's had the experience where you're like, you feel like you've been slammed down in your body. You kind of wake up and you're kind of like, or you have that where you're in your body but you can't move. What do they call that?
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, sleep paralysis. That is a case of you waking up before you're all the way back in the body, and that's why you're having that sleep paralysis.
Right, Bear?
Yeah, no. Remote viewing I find fascinating because there's anecdotal evidence that says they may have gotten some stuff right, but there was a lot more failure than there ever was success, so it's a gray area for me. But the idea of astral projection, no, I'm not into that. Lizard people. It's a little too it's a little too extra woo-woo for me, that one.
Here's the thing. It's again one of those cases that if it was possible, the world would be so different than the way it is, or it is in fact a thing, and they're keeping a lid on it, like nothing else, because that would be the ultimate form of knowledge acquisition. You could literally find out anything, and the word blackmail would be like an every day, every minute of the hour thing going on with anybody and everybody. So let's just be thankful that it isn't more widespread if it's real, or that it's not real and we only get to talk about it in discussions like this.
Well, you could just try it for yourself. I have tried it, and it's a
You
weird
you do
sensation
not
because I was going
you
out
do
to the top
not
of my.
walk with that kind of power in my hands. Trust me, I will fail. I will let you down, and I will find out all your deepest, darkest, dirtiest secrets.
Just like that thing I was talking about. Get a piece of paper, get a friend, and say, okay, I'm going to go to bed this time. Okay, I'll write this down on this piece of paper here at that time, and just try it, test it out. And you want to think about wherever your friend is located, think about their house, think about going into the door, picture it as vividly as you can, and go out through the top of your head, go out through your crown chakra, and just go. You can just put yourself there in a minute if you're in the astral. It's that put yourself in like an alpha state, that state that you're in when you're not quite asleep, but you're not fully awake and conscious in the room. It's that in between state. That's an alpha state. Put yourself into that and try it. I got scared when I got to the ceiling. I got out of my body. I was in a rocking chair. And I got to the top of the ceiling of the room, and I could look down, and I saw myself rocking in the chair, even though my consciousness is up here on the ceiling looking at myself, and it freaked me out so bad. I just slammed right back down into my body, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. It freaked me out pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure out-of-body experiences have been documented. I'm not 100% sure how well or how reliable they are. Or
the whole painting the message on the top of hospitals and that sort of thing.
Yeah, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was
People in
expecting
surgery
you to be much more into the idea because I remember you telling me about like the guy who went and saw Jupiter and that it had rings before it was like proven that it did or something like that.
What's his name? Crap. What's his name?
Ingo Swan.
Ingo
Swan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I remember that. That's a miracle, folks.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't know what we can find. Why don't you come with me, little girl, on a magic carpet ride?
Carpet ride.
That's all I gotta say, man. That's all I gotta say.
Between 3 and 4 a.m., I'm taking a leak. There ain't nothing psychic going on.
Me too. Which was really embarrassing for the aliens that were trying to abduct me that one night. They were like, "Oh shit!"
The fact that I make it, where it belongs, is the real psychic power.
Okay. Ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No more mushrooms for Raven.
Can you put Raven above me so that way Raven gets to answer the questions first because she has way more to say about this than I do.
Wait, so how do you do that? No, I want to be the one who...
Magic. What the fuck?
Let me do it. You do it. There we go.
Okay, now, you're making me sick, you two. Thank you.
There we go. So the next one, I don't think we're going to have a discussion on it because it's not really a conspiracy theory. It's more of an introductory concept for other conspiracies later down the line, unless you really want to, which I think Shadwo does because I'm pretty sure he has a fascination with this concept. Succubi.
He just called you out, Shadow.
Wow. They're fun to paint. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Okay. Fun to paint. Well, yeah, these are demonic females that are said to come into men when they are sleeping and arouse them and wake them up and steal their results of being excited. Say.
The modern applications of the conspiracy theory effectively come to beings of like sexual desire or lust can steal your life force of some kind.
Yeah.
Or that there is some tangible effect or benefit that some spiritual demonic being could get from it. Well, it's not really a conspiracy theory. It's more of just an idea of like theology and like how that, or demonology, I guess, not theology.
Yeah.
There are several very interesting applications of it later down the Iceberg, which I will not spoil, but they are very fun.
If
Uh,
I may have my turn at the succubi. Um, yeah, wet dreams were really hard to explain for primitive desert cultures. They had a hard time. They couldn't understand why young men would suddenly ejaculate in their sleep. So clearly Lilith had sent demonesses to steal their seed. And that made much more sense than my son's a fucking horny fucking prick because he's 13. Um, this is and I know Jackie and Shadow are going to disagree with me on this. This whole demon thing. This is like, if you look at what every demon is associated with, it's some biological or neurological function of humanity that's fairly commonplace enough that it gets something attached to it. And sadly, the desert was where a lot of this comes from. Was from the desert people in the Middle East with their ifrit and their jinn and everything else. Do I believe it? No. No. Do I
Gender
believe
real.
do I believe that people who are in places of power and influence believe in it? Oh hell yeah. I've seen satanic worship, I've seen demon worship, I've seen the cultish behavior that comes around it. And when you get enough people with power together that believe in this shit, they can cause trouble for everybody, and it's called Hollywood. And we'll just leave it at that.
Real quick, don't even sweat it. There, TCG. I want the boy to know how to verbally spar with just about anybody. He wants to throw a couple of softballs at his old man. Is fine. But real quick on demons, I've seen too many weird things to think that they're not out there. And I'm a Christian, so it comes part and parcel with it. And so I'm going to blame some of the weirdest shit on them. And for me, at least, it often makes more sense that way. May not be logical, but
hang on. I got to challenge you on that one. So it makes more sense for you to believe that sexual female demons are coming into teenage men's room and stealing their seed, other than as their testes are developing and they're becoming very hormonal and they're having erotic dreams and they're auto-climaxing. So the demons makes more sense than the biological function?
No, actually, well, it could be both.
So the demons are giving it a handy. Got it. Okay.
No.
It's not just teenage boys, though. I mean,
as Mac will attest to, he's been having those dreams his whole life. No, what I meant was, in some cases it could be one thing, and in some cases it could be another. And if a young man is having some really inappropriate thoughts while it's happening, I can picture that the cause and result of such an encounter. Whereas other times, if it's more PG-13 dream, then maybe it's just a natural thing. But I can see how in some cases it's a little satanic.
So
now there's things called an incubus.
Incubus, yeah, you're talking about incubi.
Okay.
Because women haven't been proven to be hyper dishonest about certain things in the past and cause lots of fervor and murder and hanging and burnings, have they?
Okay, so there is quite a bit of. There's a documentary that I watched on this whole incubus thing, and there was a woman that said she was plagued by this incubus and couldn't get rid of it. And so they set up cameras while she slept.
Are you talking about the entity case?
And she had bite marks on her in the morning, and they had a continuous cam going in with her in the and bruises. And how the hell? And she didn't have bruises and bite marks on her before she laid down to go to sleep that night. So explain that.
I can absolutely give you some examples, but we're not there right now unless everybody wants me to tell you some examples. As for the entity case, Raven, it is questionable at best. There's a lot of holes in the story. There's a lot of only seen by certain people stuff, and a lot of the documentation got confused with the hyperbole as well as the movie that caused a lot of people to believe other stuff too about what happened.
I never saw the movie. I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen the movie.
Her and her family were squatting in reality. We're squatting in a condemned house, right? So, like, you
I
got to
didn't
take
know
that
that.
into consideration. Yeah, that's no one talks about that, but that's the truth of the matter. And then when the investigators first showed up, they were talking about how bad the house smelled because of rotting wood and possibly dead animals underneath and things. There was a lot of factors that get left out. At Lorraine and what's his name style, where they just
Ed
leave a lot of
Warren.
the Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Warrens. They would just leave stuff out that could possibly debunk their theory. So you got to be really, really, really careful on these people that are telling you stuff. You got to do more research and get more answers, because sometimes it's the little girls in England pretending they're being possessed. That's all horseshit, but becomes a complete story that winds up on the news. Right? It's very, very strange stuff. As for so I when I was in the industry, I had a friend who was a medic on set, paramedic, and his family had a weird relationship with religion in that each of their children was sent to one religion to learn. So one became Catholic, one became Islamic, one became Jewish, and he went to the Church of Satan. He would tell me stuff, and I'd be like, yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then one night he invited me to a party, and I won't go into what I saw at the party. I didn't see any babies sacrificed or anything dark like that, but I saw a lot of people who believed that through sex, drugs, and expression, were going to get blessed by Satan. They were going to be given power. Now,
Mhm.
running the country, most of them couldn't afford to pay their rent, like I've said before. So I don't think, maybe Satan wasn't listening, or maybe they weren't pretty enough for him. I don't know. But there's a lot of people who believe this stuff about Satanism and about demonology and things like that. Not saying it's true, it's real. I'm just saying they believe it, and I believe that they believe it, if that helps.
Right.
All right, the
And
next
Matt,
one.
you can pray for me all you like, brother. I appreciate it.
I think we
All
all
right,
could use a little more praying for one another.
true.
That was weird.
The next
Yeah.
one is even more vague. It just says Eastern philosophies.
They exist. I'm pretty sure of it.
I'm pretty sure there's a philosophical
Yeah.
component to the Eastern world.
Yes, philosophers have existed in the East. Guess we
I
should.
think this is a setup
Oh, it's absolutely a
topic
setup.
to connect with, especially the ninth and 10th tier stuff. Is just this is
Yeah,
just
because
like a connecting
tier
point.
8, 9, and 10 are like 50% philosophy, anyways. So do I just move on to the Nephilim?
Yeah. Oh, please.
Okay, so I will explain the objective fact that is undeniable about Nephilim, and that is that they are mentioned in the earliest. They are mentioned in Genesis, and we don't know what exactly they were talking about.
We don't know what the word means, but we always, for some stupid reason, assign it to the next line, which was there were giants in the earth in those days. Which does not mean the Nephilim were the giants. The Nephilim may have been the fallen angels, or the angels that had turned and decided to live amongst man because they found the daughters of man to their taste. Who knows? But like, I love one of my most favorite things ever on YouTube these days. If it ain't skinwalkers, it's all the people talking Nephilim, and Nephilim are giants. They're always giants, the Nephilim. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
they
they
were
get into
big,
like, we don't know.
but yeah, you do.
Where do we have it? Other than the
You've
one
been
line
a
in the
time
Bible.
machine. You've been holding out on us.
Well, listen, come on, Shadwell, you were there. Why don't you just tell us?
You know I can't do that. You know I'll get in trouble with the big guy, and he'll take away my time machine.
Fair enough.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I believe they're real. Absolutely. Yeah,
What
not
do
a
you believe they
conspiracy
were?
theory. It's real. I think that they were fallen angels. Well, really, the Nephilim were the progeny of the fallen angels and human women. Where it talks in the Bible about they found the daughters of men fair and came unto them and took them wives and had children with them.
So
So they were
the
half angel
Nephilim.
and half.
Hang on, stop down. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went into the daughters of humans who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So these were the kids that were
That's all we
produced.
got. That's one Bible verse is all we really get, and
But that's
people have extrapolated vast
well,
conspiracy
there's
theories.
other books, there's other Jewish books and so forth that you can
Book of
find.
Enoch is quoted
Yeah, Book of
here.
Enoch is another one.
Does the Book
Enoch
of
is
Enoch
debatable.
explicitly say the Nephilim were the giants?
The Book of Enoch is debatable, guys. It's
Oh no,
apocrypha.
I don't really believe in the Book of Enoch either. But even if you were to, I don't know. I don't know if it says that they were the giants or if they were something else. Because I won't deny that the Nephilim. I think the Nephilim existed. I just don't think we know what they were.
I believe the first generation of the mating, the coupling between the human women and the fallen angels.
And what were they like? Were they giants? Were they
Yeah, they were
super
big because most of the women. It says, I think it's the Talmud, which is a Jewish. I think it's the Talmud, or one of them said that most of the women died in childbirth. The babies were so large.
But if they were so large, wouldn't they like just explode? You know, I mean, we're talking like, you know,
They didn't
18,
go into
20.
graphic detail, Shadow, so I don't know.
No, I mean before they were even able to, you know, like go half term, let's say, you know, just suddenly, you know, there's a giant in me, you know, it just, I think that the word giant may actually not always refer to size, but you know, sometimes we call people giants, you know, in the industry or you know another.
I'm a giant.
Right, you know, just like another word for you know grand poobah or you know great person or you know legendary or epic or
the artwork, the drawings that have come out of that show them larger than a normal human. And the fact that, and the one reason why they said that God sent the flood,
to
that
wipe that shit out.
That's not the reason why, but okay.
So if I may
all
really
of that had
quickly
become corrupt.
on the Jewish side of things, from the Torah, and it came to pass when man commenced to multiply upon the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, that the Benai Elohim saw the daughters of man, and they were beautifying themselves, and they took for themselves wives for whomever they chose. And the Lord said, Let my spirit not quarrel forever concerning man, because he is also flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the Benai Elohim would come to the daughters of man, and they would bear for them, they are the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. And that's all we got in the official sources. Now you can go into the Apocrypha, you can dive into scrolls found in caves, you can dive into art, whatever you want. But in the official Word of God books, that's all we got.
Edited by Constantine.
Well, I'm not going to argue. I don't think Constantine edited the Torah.
No, the Torah is the first 5 books of Moses. We've got that in our Bibles.
Oh, are you saying Constantine edited the Bible? Oh my word. Okay.
We'll just go to the Council of Nicaea.
The Council of Nicaea. What does the Council of Nicaea say that is against any fundamental doctrine? Have you read the Council of Nicaea? Do you have it memorized?
No, I don't have it memorized.
Jesus is the Son of God. He is God. The Holy Spirit is also God. He was born of Mary, who was a virgin, and we believe in the Church.
Okay, but they also edited the Bible down to what it is. They are the ones that threw out the book of Enoch and made it illegal then to possess that book.
But
Raven, they threw out the Gospel of Mary. They threw out the Gospel of Philip.
The Gospel of Mary's been debunked. Don't rely on that one. That's been fully debunked as a forgery.
Gospel of Thomas is another one.
What happened was that there were so many Christian sects spread all over the Middle East from east to west, and they were all making up their own shit. So the whole point of the Council of Nicaea, and you will rarely see me back the Catholics on anything. The Council of Nicaea was a way to homogenize what was accurate and shared as common belief amongst all of them, and get rid of the regional stuff that was basically local mysticism being put onto Christ. And if you actually go like study it, you'll see some of the stuff that was being said that was just absolute, like, was not what we know of Christianity. It was some local mysticism that was being applied to Christ. So it's a very different sort of beast at that point in time. Everyone believes in that the Council of Nicaea was, well, we're getting rid of references to reincarnation, and we're getting rid of references to this and that other thing. those were a byproduct of them trying to homogenize the entire scripture into something that would be uniform amongst all Christian churches, because there were a lot of churches in those days and they weren't
Yeah.
unified until after that point.
The Bible, without having all the editing that was done, you can find in Ethiopia, the Kebra Nagast. That's how you say Kebra Nagast.
Ethiopians make a lot of
They
claims.
had the Book of Enoch intact.
Do they though?
The Ethiopian church, they make a lot of claims.
They say a lot of things in Ethiopia. They like to make big, grand statements about the stuff going on over there, whether it's true or not.
And there's a huge Jewish population there.
So here's a question then. So just to keep this train of thought going on this thing, since this is where Nephilim brings us, you got to be careful, because then we're going to wind up with Prester John stories, right? And there's lots of documentation of letters from someone named Prester John, who was a Christian king, and he was sending for help to Europe because he was a good Christian and he was going to come help them in this and do this and that. Never existed. No,
I've never heard of this before.
There you go. So we have to be really, really, really selective. Now, I'm not saying the Book of Enoch is bullshit. I'm just saying the Book of Enoch has been rejected by the church. The Book of Mary was proven to be a forgery. It was not real. It was someone wrote that bullshit. And the Book of Judas, the same thing, forgery. This was the problem before the Council of Nicaea, is that any little beard-long wise man could write whatever the fuck he wanted, and his local Christian church would say, yes, this is the word of God. So the Council of Nicaea was a way to get rid of all of that woo-woo and try and bring it all into one place. Did they succeed? I don't know. But they at least made an effort to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be really careful, because it's tempting to say the Book of Enoch and the Gospel of Judas and all these types of things, and they're exciting and they're interesting.
According to the Gospel of Judas, the whole thing is, we don't have all of it, but from what we have, it's just, Jesus went up to Judas and said, this whole thing was actually a lie, and I've been tricking you. And I want you to pretend to sell me out so I can leave and go visit another universe, because this one is really bad and the people here suck, so I want to go visit a different universe. And eventually I'll come back and do stuff, but you need to betray me. And he, like, all the other guys, they don't get it, but I can tell that you get it. So I'm going to have you betray me, and then you'll be, like, the only one who gets it. That's what the Gospel of Judas said. It is effectively just a Gnostic propaganda piece.
Were we going to get into the Gnostics at some point?
I hope so.
I hope so. No, it was.
Because I want to talk about Watchers and
Demiurges. He approached
Demiurges.
Judas because he knew Judas would carry out his wishes, and he said, in order for this prophecy to come to pass, this has to be done. I need to depend on somebody to do this, and I choose you. Will you do this?
No, that's not what the prophecy says. The prophecy says it'll happen naturally. It doesn't say that he'll force it.
Yeah.
But I do know.
I got to agree with the Catholic on this one. The prophecy has to happen. It can't be made to happen.
Yeah. We also, I don't know where. He's back. Let me let him back in.
Why? It's so nice without him. Oh, hi, Shadow. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Aww.
I'll let him back in. But I do.
Yeah, no, I was listening. I was having a little technical issues. But let's face it. You get 12 guys together. There's going to be that guy you can't trust with a freaking nickel. Just saying.
Just saying. Richard, between the type of paper or papyrus or parchment it's written on, the types of inks they used, the text formation that they used was, 500 years later, it came into commonplace. It wasn't being used around the time that it's supposed to have been written. Things like that. I'm not an expert on it, but there are experts on it who have done tons of videos explaining how they debunk false biblical documents, and they're really, really thorough about it, because they don't want to accidentally debunk something that might be legitimate. So they have some very core stuff they have to check first, and if it can pass the sniff test, as we would say, then they can start looking at the veracity of it. But basically, if it doesn't pass the sniff test, they know it's manufactured forgeries that were just created to be sold to pilgrimages and things like that. And we don't realize how big a business in the Middle East selling false artifacts to pilgrims was. from supposed pieces of the cross to dirt from Cavalry Hill and all that kind of stuff. They were masters of making forgeries and selling them to gullible Europeans.
So that Gospel of Judas was found in like 2007, 2008. It might have been found before that, but that's when it hit the media.
And it's very, very ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
it's
we'll
not
get to
real.
the
But
Gnostic.
it's parts of it are still being, put back together because they showed the ladies meticulously with their tweezers trying to turn the pages of it and, piece in the loose papyrus or whatever.
Yeah. I do remember there are specific mentions of maybe not Gnosticism as a whole concept, but specific Gnostic beliefs are mentioned here. So we will go more in depth on that. I don't know if they're here or not. I don't remember. But we will definitely talk about the Gnostics, and I am excited about that.
Yeah, I am
Bear, are you
too.
still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I
Oh,
said
Bear.
Yeah, that was a good comment by Mac.
Let's move on to the next one, shall we?
All right. I just want to know if Bear is here.
Good point, nerds.
Yeah. I don't know if Bear is here or not, but I'll go on to.
Bear was trying to take a piss, but then heard that there was a bear here, so Bear's come back to not
Oh
take
no,
a piss.
no, you can go.
No, let's move on to the next one, then I'll take a piss after.
Oh, okay. Missing cosmonauts.
I'm
Russia.
sorry, what now?
The missing cosmonauts. Russia.
Ooh.
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah.
So this is the theory that there were a ton of cosmonauts who earlier in the Russian space race, including a woman who would have been the first person in space, died while either on the launch pad or once they got up into space, or there were cosmonauts that they just kept going. Like they were supposed to orbit and they just kind of, and there's ham operators in Europe who claim to have heard their cries for help and calling for help. There's recordings of some of it, which may or may not be legitimate. We don't know because the Russians are not answering these questions. And Stalin was kind of famous for covering up everything and anything he could that made the Soviet Union look bad. So is it possible? Absolutely. Do I personally believe it happened? Fuck yeah. Do I think the stories we hear from everybody are the 100% truth? No, never, because everything gets embellished by people. But yeah, I firmly believe that there's a few capsules out there in space that are just drifting with some dead cosmonauts in them for sure.
So they would be technically the first space ghost?
Dude, you listen, if you don't want your heart broken, never read the true story of Laika. Okay? That's the dog. Don't ever read the true story of Laika. It'll break your fucking heart and make you hate the world.
Oh, really?
A little late for that now, isn't it?
Listen, the Soviet space race had a very, very, very high body count. And the reason it had a very high body count and was able to have a very high body count was because of their absolute control of their media. Because the American press was controllable, but not completely controlled, NASA couldn't get away with doing as much fly by the seat of their pants shit as the Russians did during that period. So there had to be a little more safety involved, right? But yeah, this is all interesting shit. And the dogs, the amount of dogs that died, it's real.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, I told you, you don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Okay, now can I go pee?
Yeah, go.
Now that I've broken Raven's heart, can I go pee?
Yes. Oh, I don't remember this one. Hold up. There's two this could be. I always mix them up. Let me make sure I got my facts right.
Could you get the... Yeah.
It's one of many Siberian incidents.
Oh!
Oh, Dyatlov Pass.
Yes,
Dyatlov Pass.
the Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah.
Is this the one with the immense, uncontrollable force?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna say avalanche, and that makes the most sense. It's the most logical explanation, everything else. When people get really, really, really cold, they do really, really stupid things. Trust me.
Okay, well, there's some
And all of it can
crazy.
be chalked up to hypothermia, exposure, and an avalanche.
No,
You
the
want to
bodies
read
are
more into it
radioactive. How can the bodies be radioactive? And they had
because
to
all
even
bodies
have.
are radioactive. At what levels? They never.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
put in hermetically sealed coffins because they were so
yeah, because they didn't
radioactive.
want anybody messing with them. I don't know that to be um,
They're
proof of
radioactive.
anything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So Data
yeah,
Love Pass has a lot of misinformation around it. Be careful on that one. That's again another product of Soviet era control, information control.
Damn it,
Whenever the
cat.
Soviets are involved, it's gonna get real sketchy. Sorry to rain on the Wahoo party, but the Soviets lied a lot.
Wasn't the why am I forgetting the autopsy? There we go. Let me look that up to make sure I'm thinking of the right one.
Meanwhile, Raven.
sorry, I'm catching up with the chat.
There you go, Raven. Bean says hello, Raven.
Hello. Yes, mine are misbehaving. I love your videos on your Facebook page of your cats. Those are good. I like watching those.
You're a star, buddy. You're a star. Yeah. All right, come on.
I mean, they had closed coffins. They were hermetically sealed. The families couldn't even view the bodies. Not that they would want to give them nightmares, from what I've seen. The journal of one of the girls that was in. There were two women that were part of that, and and there's some interesting photos on the camera they recovered, where there's like this Sasquatch type thing that's following them,
Jesus Christ!
and they show they show the photos. I mean, you see a dark silhouette. You can make out the head and shoulder stuff kind of peeking from around a tree, and it's really tall. And you see I can't remember the name of the tribe of. They're like
Sorry, I missed this, guys.
native Siberian tribe that live out there that have the reindeer. What's their? Help me, somebody.
Yupiks?
That might be. That kind of sounds familiar. What was it that they have? They do the reindeer, breed the reindeer, and so forth. Anyway, they talk about their Sasquatch, their Yeti, being not friendly at all and extremely dangerous. Not like the ones that just like to play hide and seek here in the United States around Washington, Oregon, and up on the Pacific Northwest. Those Yetis over there hate humans and hunt them. I'm not saying that Yeti is responsible for what happened to those people, but there is several photographs of a Yeti following them. It was in one of the woman's cameras. And they also talk about these UFOs, these lights in the sky they were seeing and noticing at night. And that's another thing that those native people talk about, that you don't go near this mountain. Where they were camped out is a zone you don't want to be in. That's part of their tradition. With good reason.
Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up with the chat. I'm going to go back to the Dagon question just in case you guys are interested in that.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Dagon? What are we talking about Dagon for?
Let me go back to it.
It was.
We missed it when we were talking about. Hold on. It says, can we talk about the Dagon worshippers that reigned over Rome after destruction by the hordes? The Pope's vestments are literal carryovers from Dagon symbolism. I've not heard that.
Dude, yeah, the papal hat is the fish hat of Dagon. If you look at it from the side,
the Dogon tribe, right?
No, not the Dogon tribe. Dagon.
I've never heard of it.
That wouldn't.
Snakefish worshippers from Bronze Age.
I mean, I suppose it wouldn't.
Richard,
Situation, I don't
hit
think-
me up on either Discord or put a reminder comment after the video, and I'll try to get Raven to send me some photos.
I've got them right here if you want. I found them. It's one picture, and there's no proof that it's real. It's a picture. That's all we got.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Actually, I think I'm going to put it up.
Please.
You go to the ad people, and his picture will be there.
Oh wait, really?
There's actual pictures and drawings you can see where they show the Dagon fish hat, and then they show the Pope hat beside it. It is very.
No, I thought he was talking about the Bigfoot photos.
No, Nersner's just talking about the thing with the fish
They showed
hat.
those on Ancient Aliens.
But the thing is that it could simply just be a case of why are wizards' hats covered in stars and moons? Does anybody know why? Because I can tell you why, but do you know why?
Because they
in
were the astrologers.
Well, in more ancient Persian times, the wise men wore metal
Zoroaster.
hats that were cones
Yeah.
that had a calendar on them of the stars and everything, and that was their calendar, was the hat. So eventually the wise man's hat becomes stars and moons and comets and what have you. So the fact that the fish hat of the Dagon priest is what is replicated by the papacy could just be like, it's a top hat. It's a style of hat that meant wise person in charge of something. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It doesn't have to be deeper than that.
Yeah.
No, Richard.
Pull up a picture.
Okay, go ahead, and then
Sasquatch.
while you're doing that, well, Richard, I think, was talking about the Russian Pass, and Raven talking about like the equivalent of Yeti or something. He'd like to see pictures of that.
They were on.
I am
people find them.
trying.
They were on
Just
Ancient
figured it
Aliens.
Oh, you weren't talking about that?
No, we were.
No, Richard.
This is
There
the
you
image.
go.
Yeah, there's literally no proof that this is actually a picture from anyone on the Dyatlov Pass into its camera, but it's become a part of the mythology.
Mm-hmm.
But that could be a person.
Oh, there we go. All right, on to the next one, which is declassified documents.
That's a little vague, isn't it?
It's very vague. I think there was something more specific to it. I think I did a.
No,
Like anything
that's what it
truly
said.
ever declassified, I think would be the conspiracy.
Yeah. I think it's something to do with how documents are declassified, and sometimes they're like lies in what is those declassifications. Doesn't seem like too big of a stretch to me.
Yeah, as long as these declassified documents, are covered in Sharpie, what's the freaking point? You know what I mean? So much is going to be out of context. When we get to full page and there's no redacted this and that, then let's talk. Until then, God only knows what's under the other ink.
Can you stop?
All right. Ooh,
No problem, Richard.
this one is. Oh wait, never mind. There's one in front of it. What? All right. Pineal gland calcification.
Oh, yeah. Well, you kind of already covered that.
Do we
huh?
just let Raven talk about this for another 10 minutes?
No, not necessary. Next.
Just straight up skip it?
What was
Yeah.
the topic? I missed that.
Pineal gland calcification. We talked about it a bit with the fluoride stuff. I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's
think
move
we
on.
covered
Let's move on.
Tulpas.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is a good one.
Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to go first because I think it's either utter horseshit or wishful thinking or insanity. If this was a real thing, we would literally see Santa Claus every year. we would all see Santa Claus. Period.
We would see a lot of things.
So there's a whole theory going around right now that once the famous people make a deal at a certain level within the entertainment industry, they create a tulpa of them, and the tulpa goes out and does all the stuff, right? So it's like a homunculus, right?
Okay.
Is it true? I don't know. But is it possible? Probably not. But is it fun to think about? Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't like the idea of thinking that my country or yours is being, run by somebody's imaginary friend.
No, you didn't say it was a good thing. You just said it's fascinating and fun. It's kind of silly.
Ray, I can just see Raven being so patient. What you got for us, Raven?
I read a tulpa. A tulpa became familiarized here in the West through Madame Blavatsky.
So
While
it's
she was
real.
in Tibet, studying there with the monks and so forth, they created these tulpas and talked to her about it and told her how to do one, how to create one of her own. And it is essentially, and the reason why they create these is to contemplate scripture, more or less, and have someone to talk to about it, something to that effect.
Imaginary friend, right? Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's a part. You take a part of your energy and create this being that is essentially a part of you, but yet it can, at some point, if left, if you don't uncreate it within a certain amount of time, it can then have its own consciousness and become aware of itself and be separated from you and run amok and do all kinds of things. So tulpas were used back in the day when people that were practicing magic, practicing witchcraft, or anything other than Christianity, they would create a tulpa to protect the area. And so that's where a lot of your monster lore or a haunted hedge or a haunted grove comes from. It would be this tulpa that was created, and you can do it in a group to make it more powerful. There's a similar concept called a golem in Jewish tradition, where you make a little mud person and you instill a piece of your life force into the little mud thing that you make, and create a golem. Golem and tulpa are very similar.
There are only two words I ever need to hear to know that something is complete bullshit. And those words are Madame Blavatsky. The minute I hear those two words, I know we're talking horse shit.
Well,
that woman was such a fraud. She was such a fraud. She got
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. Why do you say that?
Because Theosophy was horse shit. And she's built tons of money out of rich, bored socialites. She built them. She took their money happily.
They gave it to her. She didn't take it. They gave it to her. Okay, aside from that, we're not going to argue about her financial status. Okay, so from a philosophical...
Raven, what's your opinion on indulgences?
Indulgences? Well, the church took all kinds of indulgences.
They gave them to them.
Oh yeah, you...
Not saying those
we're
things, just saying
say 3 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers, and you're absolved of your sin. And yeah, where do I catch?
Drink 2 Bloody Marys and say 3 Hello Dollies.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they were a good thing. I'm just saying it's the same thing.
Come on, cat. You get out, please. Okay. Anyway, aside from that, I'm just saying that Madame Blavatsky is the one who brought it. It was a concept that was kept in the East that wasn't talked about much. She introduced it to the West.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you say somewhere that Slenderman is real because tulpas?
Tulpas can become real, especially if you have more people believing in it and putting energy. That energy goes somewhere.
You just proved my point, Raven.
Yeah.
If that was the case, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and Saint Nick would be a regular occurrence, and we'd all have photographs.
Well, it is a regular occurrence, isn't it? That tradition has not
No, I
died
mean,
after all this time.
think about it. Think about it. United States, say 1965. Every kid in the country was, focused in on Santa Claus bringing them gifts. That's a
Right.
lot of freaking energy. I can't imagine much more, energy being focused on one thing. And last time I checked, I didn't get squat. Oh, I got some coal
Because
maybe,
you were so
but,
naughty.
yeah, right. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So
If that kind of thing could happen, unchecked children in mass would be creating like a superpowered, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man looking like Santa Claus, just tossing out gifts left and right. I mean, I can't picture a more focused group of, the purest of energy than something like that.
I don't have an answer for that. I can't answer that. I know I've seen the spell work necessary to create a tulpa. And it's
Thank you, nerd.
it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I don't know, but I mean, we don't know everything about energy. We're just learning about a lot of this stuff because of the technology that we have now that we can see things. I mean, we have a very limited range of the light spectrum that we can even see and sense. Um, now we have instruments that can see into the infrared and into the ultraviolet. Electromagnetic energy. I mean, there's the spirit boxes that the paranormal people have now, where they've programmed it with how many, thousands of words, then they can believe they are communicating with the spirit through this. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. But when you go back through history, it all starts with the lamas there in Tibet. And it's been, every tradition adds their stuff onto things, but it's a very real thing of being able to, and that those monks there are very disciplined. They can do some pretty incredible stuff. They can dry out sheets with their body raising. They can raise and lower their body temperature at will. They can go for long periods of time without food and water. They can, they do some pretty
Which monks are
interesting
these?
stuff. So
Which
they're the
monks?
ones that have
Wait a minute.
Which monks?
Hold up. Let me.
the monks in Tibet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can do some pretty amazing stuff. So, and they've got scrolls that go back thousands of years. So,
Okay, I'm gonna have need to talk with you, Mac, in a bit. This is, but that can come after. Are you guys done with the
are you
total
talking
stuff?
to me?
No, I'm talking to Mac.
Oh,
Los Llamas.
All right. What's the next one? Ooh, Michelle, you're gonna like this one.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Operation Bluebeam.
Oh.
From what I have heard, it was, or is, I guess, a plan to fake aliens landing.
Or Jesus. Take your pick.
Oh, both.
yeah.
Okay.
Hologram technology used to trick the masses into thinking a large supernatural or paranormal event is occurring, and you need to now tune into the radio and do everything they say.
And give up a bunch of your rights. That's the whole goal of it. Is put the people in fear, and they will give up their constitutional rights. So we saw it 9/11, and yeah, and go from there. Yep. I love Monty Python too. It's my favorite.
Yes and no, Cal. We're on to Project Bluebeam. So, hey, you didn't do anything, Mac. Jack just wants to talk to you. Pick your brain.
No, you did something.
Uh-oh,
No.
Catholic fight. Those never end well. Ask Europe.
Good point. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Le Blue Beam?
I don't know. It sounds reasonable, and there have been some interesting videos that we've been seeing lately of strange shit in the sky that isn't just your usual stuff we see in the sky, but like weird ass shit. But then again, you know, you can do a lot of interesting shit with your computer these days to make things look real, and then people don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you see ghost videos, right? And they have like the drawers opening and things flying around. I have friends in the FX departments who can explain to you how to set that up and do that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a self automated process. You flick a switch and the process goes through doing all the things, right? So, is Bluebeam real? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
need to. I literally need to see with my own eyes uh, holograms that are more complex than what we're familiar with. Um, Richard, real quick, I'm pretty sure there's a Y-Files on it, but you know, I've got a small timeshare there, and we can
Yeah.
talk over on Discord.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, I think Shasta is going to
it's
come up later on the pyramid, isn't it?
Yes, it
On
is.
the iceberg? Yeah.
Not by name, but that's what it's talking about. Like it's not
Shasta's interesting,
the
though.
name Mount Shasta. It's more specific.
Yeah.
But Mount Shasta absolutely is here. All right, on to
it,
page.
you know, it could be this as well. This could be one aspect or one facet of it. Whenever they do the thing, um, they might incorporate
I
all
thought
kinds of
were
different,
already used.
top secret technology to fake such a thing. Just believe it or not, with any hologram, there's a lot of ways to disrupt it. And if you get a hold of a couple of things, you could, make your own hologram disruption tool. You got a t-shirt cannon and some what is it mylar confetti. You blast right through it.
Okay.
All right, given that you've been telling me about Bluebeam all your life, I thought you'd have something more.
They've had more than ample reason to pull that off or try that out, and they haven't. So that means they either can't, they're unwilling to do it just yet, or they're planning something really big and they're not quite ready for it.
Or it's the Jehovah's Witness of conspiracy theories. We didn't get the date we meant, so it's going to be this date now. We got new information that tells us it's going to be this date now. Okay, it's going to be this date now. When you move the goalpost, you undermine your
Exactly
credibility.
what Nerd just said right here. I'll believe it when I see it, and even then, I'm not going to trust my lion eyes.
Look, never forget all the nonsense that just went on in Miami, where 3 cops walking on stairs side by side was turned into aliens have invaded Miami. Come on, people.
Wait, I did not hear about that.
You didn't hear about that.
We'll
Yeah,
talk
that was
later.
back around April. Yeah, it was around the same time the Las Vegas aliens were being sighted walking around. It was about the same time.
It was in Miami. Don't worry, it'll come up later, I'm sure. Or we'll talk about it when we get to aliens. Potato gun. The only thing that can kill the lizard people is a potato gun.
Oh, I had coffee commitment.
Well, you shouldn't be drinking coffee around me then. That's all I'm saying.
Moving right along.
What's next, Jackster?
The next one is occult knowledge. Again, very vague, but it's generally referring to occult knowledge within higher elements of society and that sort of thing.
The cult means hidden. So
Yeah.
hidden knowledge, and it's a real thing.
Yeah, of course.
I think
I mean, we all know about We all know
That's because you've
about.
only seen the one piece of footage, Brock. You haven't seen the actual police camera footage that shows it's three cops walking on the stairs side by side. But that's okay. Anyway, keep going, Jackie. Sorry, cult knowledge.
Yeah. We've all seen the
Fucking rights, Mac.
Bohemian Grove ceremonies. Even if it's not real, they definitely. Well, to be
It's
fair, I don't
real.
think people at Bohemian Grove necessarily think it's real. But again, doesn't
Oh,
matter. They're still doing it
you
anyway.
know, at least 5 to 10% of those guys think this shit is legit.
Oh, not yeah. Oh, absolutely, 5 to 10% believe it. I just don't think all of them.
Nixon didn't. He called it a bunch of San Francisco faggot shit. Nixon had the best quote about Bohemian Grove.
Oh yeah, no, he is. That was the best quote I've ever seen about it.
I think this one also ties to like the other philosophy one that maybe as you go down deeper and deeper and deeper, you're going to need to not just connect the dots, but use information from some of these vaguer topics and put them together to finally get to the ultimate enlightenment that is at the very bottom of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Pretty sneaky, sis.
All right. Hold up. Let me make sure I have this one right. All right. So Magica. Vague. Do you not know about it?
Yeah, I looked this up.
Oh, you do know about it? Okay.
I did, yeah.
No, you either come up with a role playing game, a card game, or it's so deep. It's so deep on the internet that you're gonna have to go 40, 50 pages in to find exactly what this guy's talking about.
If you go to Wendigoon's channel, he says that it's talking about these 5 types of magic, which are arcane, illusionary, aura, manipulation, and elemental. This was an action-adventure game.
That is my magic system. Thank you. I love it. I was looking for a good magic system.
It's an action-adventure game that was made by Arrowhead Game Studios for Microsoft back in January 25th of 2011. And there's Magica is a game.
No, it's just the game.
It's Magica.
The idea of the conspiracy is that it's real. Like the whole way the magic works in Magica is real, and they just put it in a game to make it seem less.
Okay. Because for a long time,
I think this is one of those red herring topics, sort of plausible deniability topics. It's like, see, we weren't serious. We threw in the Simpsons.
Hey, no. Magica Dispel was on DuckTales. She was the evil witch. Remember Magica Dispel? There you go.
It's been a long time.
Well,
been a long, lonely time.
Of those 5 listed, the only one that's in any reality is the elemental. There is elemental magic.
Oh,
come on! I've raised my fair share of skeletons and zombies back in the day.
Yeah, I know you did a spell to end the world. I know it didn't work. Clearly,
that was to save the world. Get it right.
No, you very specifically told me that when you were a teenager, we performed a spell to end the world. That's what you said. That's what you said.
No, to save the world. I said to save the world. And we were successful. You're living proof.
No. You're changing up the story. You said it was to end the world.
I believe you, Jackie.
Do I look like the kind of guy that would try to end the world?
Yes. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you look like the kind of guy who'd argue about extra sauces at McDonald's.
You're not wrong. You're not far off the mark. They short me on that sweet and sour. There's going to be hell to pay.
All right. The next one is shelled firmament to Earth. I see you're already. All right. So effectively, it's the idea that when after the flood, though, because before the flood there was supposedly some sort of firmament. Again, we don't know what that means. Some people interpret it as flat Earth ice wall shielding. Clearly, it's not meant to be that, but whatever. But some people say, oh, well, whatever the firmament was that supposedly went away, it's still here, and it's doing something. I don't know. They never quite get their story straight as to what it it's supposed to
Well,
still happen. I don't know, there was some Hollow Earth stuff I heard, but I couldn't find anything that was like super specific about it.
sorry about
The
that.
world is hollow and I have touched the sky. That kind of nonsense.
I am Kirok.
Well, they're
Yeah.
saying that the Earth was a lot more tropical at one point, and that there was I don't know if that's the firmament or not, but that there was more oxygen in the atmosphere than what there is now.
That yeah, that can change things.
And that it was more of there was like a cloud cover or something that would keep the heat and all the moisture, keep it from
Oh, you guys are going
escaping
too fast for me to
and
keep up with.
evaporating. So I don't know if that's. I don't believe in the flat Earth theory at all. I think that's pretty silly, but
Oh yeah, it's 100% a psyop.
It's nice to know you have limits, Raven.
yes, fair. I do have limits. I do.
Nice to know
I
that there
have-
are things that even you will go, not I don't pass the sniff test.
Yeah, I know that one too, nerds.
I know how to cast water ball. I take a balloon, I fill it up with water, and I throw it at someone.
All right. Oh, we're
yeah,
getting to
elemental magic.
And my
Fireball.
verbal component is "fuck you" as I throw it. So there we go.
Okay.
What's next,
That one's
Jackster?
goofy. That one's goofy, or it needs more context.
Obviously, we all know what the concept of the Men in Black are, so just saying that it's real doesn't need too much explanation.
The only Men in Black I believe in are Jesse Ventura and Alex Trebek. And that's a deep cut if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you forgot the Cash Man. Come on,
No.
the original.
Okay, you don't get it. On X-Files, there was a Men in Black episode where the Men in Black were played by Jesse Ventura and Alex Trebek. It's fucking hilarious. It's one of the best episodes of the series. But yeah, I don't believe in the Men in Black at all.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with it. It would not surprise me one tiny little bit that the government had people going out there shutting other people up.
Mhm.
The fact that they would, give them uniforms and things like that also wouldn't surprise me. But you notice you haven't heard a lot about it lately since the advent of the what? Oh yeah, the cell phone and the Ring camera.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. And they're always describing them as like vaguely human with rubbery skin, and they were awkward and uncomfortable with normal everyday
I can't
items.
hear a thing.
Can't hear me anymore. Can you guys hear me?
Pop up that says the connection is lost. Reconnecting. This is probably
Okay,
me.
Shadow, can you hear me?
Yep.
I can also
Okay.
hear you.
All right, fair enough.
Nice. Was it Don Henley or Glenn Frey?
I was
Anyway,
about to say it's Don Henley, and I was about to say all she wants to do is dance. Thanks, George.
Mm-hmm. It's a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max way more accurate on that. If there are Men in Black, it's just government spooks. That's all. It's not android alien men.
And Nerds says she only believes in the first MIB. The sequels never existed.
It's a shame that
Yeah, I
never made
think
any
I
more
have-
Highlander films.
I don't know what you're talking about. I own the movie, but I don't know anything about a sequel.
Oh yeah, it never happened.
Modern humans don't have much to offer infinite beings. What do we have to trade when most have already sold our souls cheaply? Yeah.
Well, that's not technically true, but I get what you're saying. Oh, I know what you're trying to say. And in that case, you're probably right. Raven, can you hear us anymore? Or
Raven, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay,
I thought we were going to
Everything's locked up.
reach out to you. Hey, there she goes. She touched something.
Oh, well, I guess you can't hear us anymore.
Or she can, and is very upset. Well, what's
Um,
next, sir?
the next one is the, I believe it is the Boy in the Box.
Pull
Mm.
up your socks, you're the boy in the box. It's a great Corey Hart song off his second album. What the hell is the boy in the box theory?
Okay, it's not really a theory, but I'll let all you guys talk. Basically, the Boy in the Box relates to, in like the 60s, I think, there was a small child found dead on the side of the road in a box. And officially, he was never identified, or the story goes that he was never identified, no missing persons cases were filed, no one had lost a child in the area. It was no orphanages reported anyone missing, nothing like that. He was just found dead there, and no one figured out who or why or what happened.
Okay.
Conspiracies relate to it was a cover up by an orphanage, or it's relating to satanic lizard people cabals and stuff like that.
Ooh,
If
my
Raven
favorite
was
kind of
here,
lizard people.
if Raven was here, she would have a lot to say about it, I assume, and then I could. I actually do know the like undisputed or not undisputed, but the actual factual cases of it. Um, I'd like Raven to be here to talk about it though, because that would be fun.
We can always circle back around when she comes back.
Yeah, but point is, there's a lot of misinformation about it. Basically, everything you'll find if you just do like a surface level dig on it is completely untrue. We do know who it was, and we know who killed him, and we know why, and we know the situation. We know everything about it. It's just buried behind so much misinformation, and like people saying, "Oh, it's this big mystery," when it's just human depravity.
Do you
And
think this
that's
is
the
a
rest of
red
the
herring?
story.
Do you think this is a red herring or a possible,
It's not
tie
a
into
red
something
herring.
later?
It's not a red herring because it is a very popular story among like internet. Uh,
I don't mean in the traditional sense of red herring. I mean, they just put this one on the list, sort of for the plausible deniability. Like see, we put all kinds of crazy stuff on this, to sort of, cover the ass of the man who created
no,
the
because
the
the boy
pyramid,
in the
the
box
iceberg.
idea or the boy in the box mystery is so commonly like spouted on the internet. Um, it would be shocking if it wasn't there, to be honest. Because for
Do you know
years,
where this happened?
people have been talking. Do I know where?
Yeah.
I don't remember where. It's not that hard to look up where it was, though. But I do know that it was a man and a woman who illegally adopted the child and then kept them in the basement until they died.
Cal
It's not.
wants his box back.
It's not really a mystery.
Funny as hell. That was funny as hell.
And that boy grew up to be Cal.
Yeah. Um. So the next one, reality simulations. We're living in the Matrix. Everything is in the computer. That sort of thing.
Well, if it is, I'm running a Pentium 2.
I kind of look at it from a little bit different perspective. That if God created everything, then yeah, we're in His creation, which could technically be something akin to stimulation. Then when you die, you go to heaven, and the earth, doesn't matter anymore.
That's not how religion and Christianity works, but okay. You
Thanks, nerd.
agnostic.
Says looks like it was unsolved for 60 years. Still lots of time for theories, but 2016 forensic solved it concretely. There you go.
Yeah. Um. First of all, Shadow, that's not true. That is Gnostic propaganda. But anyways, reality simulations. Yeah. No, we're not living in a matrix. When people usually say it's matrix or reality is a computer or whatever, it's just I don't know. People who like concretely believe it, like, oh yeah, there's like super into this idea, like, oh yeah, totally. Here's all the stuff. Oh, here's these weird looking trees. It's clearly a glitch in the matrix. It's just people wanting to make up for the fact that they refuse to believe in anything spiritual, but they can't accept the only logical explanation that we just don't know how the universe was created otherwise. It has to be other people and other beings, and clearly we're an experiment for some reason, and all that stuff.
Well, you were an experiment.
Well, are we all turning off our cameras? Fine. There, I'll turn mine off too.
Oh shoot! I forgot to turn mine back on, but I guess I won't anymore.
Yeah, I was just heading down for a smoke. Some folks don't like seeing the me doing the ghost hunter up and down the stairs.
This one going out to Cal. It's an oldie but a goodie. The wheels on the bus. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, do I believe we're in the Matrix? No. Do I think people are easily fooled into believing stuff? Yes. Does it make sense, therefore, that people would believe this shit? Yes. But we're not in the Matrix.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is one that Raven would have agreed with.
I don't think so. I think Raven said we're in the Matrix.
I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have. I'm pretty sure this is one we would all actually agree on. That's nice.
Really? I don't know. Maybe. Okay.
If she comes up here saying like, "Of course the Matrix is real," then well, I guess I owe someone $1. All right, the next one, clown sightings. Oh yeah, back in
Oh yeah.
2016, I think.
You okay? You're a little young to remember. You wouldn't remember this, young Master Jackson, but your father would. Remember streaking? Do you remember that, Shadow?
Oh
It was a
yeah,
big thing.
absolutely.
Well, this was just the modern version of streaking. Someone got it up their ass to dress up like a clown. It took off, and then other people started doing it. Next thing you know, it's everywhere. And then it stopped magically.
Are you talking about like the 70s, 80s, or just a couple of years ago when people were doing it to try to terrorize people?
Recently, the clown stuff's recent.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I don't know what happened.
And for some reason, I can't access chat. So Jackie, you'll have to highlight them because it's not working on my end.
Oh, let's go. I have
Just
full
one of those people
control
driving by
over
to give you a
media.
hand.
And what? And what?
No,
I don't
there
know
it goes.
why.
Sorry, I got it. I'm back.
Ah, dang it! I'm no longer in total control. This is so sad.
So, Raven, do you believe that we are living in a computer simulation or a matrix?
I've been entertaining the thought here lately. A lot of people seem to think so.
Do you?
I'm not sure. I'm still out to lunch on it. I'm not sure. You know,
Jackie, you owe me
Does that mean I owe anybody anything?
you owe me a beer. No, it's
I'm not sure. It could be, and that would explain a lot of that would explain a lot of things actually. But you know, it sure feels real. I don't feel like I'm in a video game per se, but yeah, I don't know. I'm entertaining the thought of it. But you know, I listened to a lecture this last weekend from a quantum scientist who explained all of that, and in no way could I even come close to repeating what he said. And it made sense, but you know, then I walk outside and I'm like looking around at the trees and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't see that. I can't. So I'm divided. I really don't know. I'm still exploring it.
yeah. I love quantum science. Quantum physics is my favorite fucking physics because it's magic. It's physics magic because it's basically we can't explain this thing, so here's some bullshit we're going to make up to explain it, and then hopefully it'll turn out to be true later. They got lucky on dark matter, you know what I mean? And then otherwise they've not making sense. But boy, quantum physics sounds good, right? Just like when they used to call this shit metaphysics, and it sounded good.
Yeah. Well, there's something
Agreed.
to it. There's something more than just regular physics going on here on this planet. Okay.
No, physics
Call
is
it whatever
okay,
you
so-
want, but there's some shit that goes on that you just can't explain with logic
Yes.
and the science that we have thus far. That can be
and there's
perfectly, it
there's
can be
the rub
perfectly
break.
natural, and we
Right.
haven't discovered that science yet. I'm not saying that that's not possible, and it is possible. So I mean, I keep an open mind about that stuff.
So this cup, the quarks and positrons and all the fun stuff that make up this cup only
Yeah.
account for about a quadrillionth of its total mass and volume. The rest is empty space.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. The rest is empty space. Yes.
So physics
Yep.
physics suffers from the fact that it wants to be empirical science, but unfortunately they did come to the horrifying realization in the 30s that they can only explain about 70 to 75% of anything, and there's always an X factor involved that they can't, which is why they search for the grand unified theory, because that can hopefully explain everything for them. So science grows, and that's the best part about science, is that science grows.
Well, it's supposed to.
Mysticism stagnates. Mysticism is woo-woo out
No,
of the
I would
gate.
say
It's never going to be changed.
due to
Hence why-
the
Hold up, say that
Hence
again.
why people are quoting 150-year-old theosophic theory still to this day.
well, look at the Darwin's theory of evolution. We have
Nice,
found through
Cal.
our science most recently that nature helps is in tandem, it helps each other. It's not a competition. It's not a survival of the fittest
That's not what survival of the
mentality.
fittest means, Raven.
There's a
I know
cooperation
that.
between plants, trees, the fungus. I mean, look at a lot of that stuff. It's not as cut and dry as what Darwin's theory, and it is still a theory because it hasn't been proven as a fact yet. It's Darwin's theory of evolution.
That's not what theory
It's
means in
It's
science.
also the theory of gravity, Raven. You want to test that one?
Gravity, we don't know what gravity is still. We still don't know what it is.
We don't know what it
It
is.
does
but
some
we know
weird
it's real.
shit when you add some magnetism to it. You know?
Survival of the
Why-
fittest isn't
I don't know where my
necessarily.
camera went. I don't know why my camera is not on.
It's
It
the
was
ley
unfit.
lines.
It was unfit.
It was unfit, yeah.
Your camera was not the fittest. So young Master
It,
Jax,
it
can you
glitched
explain?
out, Raven. It glitched out of the matrix.
Jackson,
That's
can you
bad.
explain the what survival of the fittest actually means, please?
Survival of the fittest doesn't necessarily imply competition. It just means that whatever animal is most fit to live in a certain area is more likely to spread its genes, which are also more fit for the specific area. Therefore, throughout over millions and millions of years, a certain type, like certain genes, will pass on more and more until they become extremely common in a animal or whatever population, or will become less common because they are a detriment to that specific creature who happens to have them survival, making them less likely to have any kids, and therefore their genes will not pass down, and those traits will eventually stop existing within the population over a very long time.
And that's
Can you believe
all
this
the.
kid's related to me? Can you believe that shit?
And by the way, Jackson, that's all the proof I need of a divine being. Do you understand? I see the fingerprints and the DNA of the divine in that science, in the genetic makeup, in the DNA, in the RNA, in all of these things is where I see divine. I don't need old men in robes telling me what God is. I see God every day. I see him in trees and in grass and my cats every day. You understand?
Mhm.
That's the difference. That's why I'm an anti-religious person, because I don't believe in religion. I believe in,
I mean,
I'm what they
I
call an agnostic theist.
I think that you can absolutely get see the divine and stuff like that. I just think that that divine would probably give a message, but that's a conversation for a later day. But I actually do kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah, we don't want to drive Cal back off to his
Right, Cal.
whiskey.
My apologies, Cal. My apologies. Go ahead. What's next on the chat? What's up next?
No, not pantheism. Let's go for
Don't
some
talk
real
more.
woo stuff. Space is fake. Wait, no,
Nice,
dang
George.
it. I missed
Nice.
it. Let's talk about this first, though. Space is fake. Space is
I
not
can't even
real.
deal with these people. These people who want to deny everything. You can't deal with them anymore, right? The Earth's flat, space is fake, water's not wet. The
It's
world's a
fake.
matrix.
That's coming up, by
It's
the way.
like-
Oh, wait till we get your red is not my red.
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming up very soon.
Yeah.
I know. I
You
know.
guys already do clown sightings and what?
Yes.
Divination?
Do any of you not believe in space?
As I'm
So you
currently
already,
occupying it, I believe in it.
Yeah. There is. Yeah. Um. All right. Though I skipped it, but we can just go back to it. Divination.
yeah.
Very.
Don't do it.
I
Don't
mean,
do
yeah.
it. Try. Have some faith. Just do it. Go with your gut. Come on up here.
Are we asking if we believe in the power of divination? Or are we asking if being able to divine things that you can't see, taste, touch, or feel is true? I need a little clarity on this one.
Oh. Um. Shadow. You. Well.
Yeah, I said my piece. Don't
Okay.
do
Never
it.
mind. I wanted you to explain it. Because you'd explain it better. Divination, as in like gaining access to knowledge through like or gaining access to occult or divine knowledge through physical means, through like rituals or certain actions and stuff like that.
I will give you my answer thusly. I do this so Raven may speak unhindered and say whatever she wants, and I will not talk her, pocket, or say shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there is okay. Divination. Yeah, there is such a thing as divination. Now here's a caveat to that. Okay. When you go to, let's say, a reader, let's say you go get a tarot card reading. Okay. A tarot card reading will give an outcome. That outcome is based on if there is no deviation from this line of energy on this pattern of behavior, this whatever factors are part of the question. If you continue on this path, this is going to be the outcome. But you can change it. That's the whole reason, really, why you would want to go to a reader or so on and so forth. You alter your behavior. You choose B instead of A. You're going to go down a different path and you're going to get a different outcome. Because if this one doesn't look good, you still have time to change it. There were readers and so forth all the way back. They're even talked about in the Bible. And it's interesting to me that there's passages that say, like, thou shalt not suffer a witch to burn and all this stuff. But yet, a lot of them they're sneaking off. That one king, what was his name, snuck off to go get some advice from the uh, sorceress about the next day's battle, even though that was a big no-no.
He was
And
the
what
guy
did he
who-
get for his troubles?
Well, no, he didn't get killed like that. He fell on
Yeah,
his
he
sword.
got killed. He was killed the next day, and she told him so. But the Oracle at Delphi. There's always been uh, fortune tellers, readers, things like that. There are those that actually have a gift that are for real, that are real clairvoyants, they're real clairsentients, and then there are those that like to pretend and like to take people's money. There is a difference.
To be honest, we're turning our cameras back on. Okay. The thing about the story of how Saul died, it's not just that he went to someone like a fortune teller and said, "Oh, you're gonna die in the next battle," and you win anyways. That's not the part that made it bad necessarily. It's also not even the most interesting part of the story. He was the guy who outlawed fortune telling and divination and all that stuff. He made it punishable by death, and then he decided to go do it himself anyways to summon the spirit of the guy who hated him most. Uh, the guy who was no, not Solomon, Saul. Um,
So, yeah.
Gotta call Saul.
yeah,
Maybe not.
at you. So he went to go summon the spirit of the guy who was his biggest detractor, and then when he did get summoned, he's like, "You made a horrible mistake. You're gonna die in the next battle." And then he went anyways, lost horribly, and then killed himself because he was gonna die anyways. He did the whole falling on his sword thing.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that's where the saying comes from, and where the whole practice kind of I mean, I guess it's maybe not the first, but it's the first documented case.
Well, there's a whole project.
Exactly, nerd. Exactly.
I want to respond to this.
What on earth is this?
There's a whole project Arkweld that the government put in place. Is still ongoing, as far as I know, where they were interviewing psychics, not for the remote viewing and not for the other programs. This was, they wanted psychics, and they have. That's how they get some of their MK Ultra candidates. I'll call them. Look at Project Arkweld, and it's all about them finding psychics through. At first, they were just testing military people, but then they found that a lot of the family members of the military people were a lot better at it. There's a Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia TV has a interview with that Richard Doty from last week about Project Arkweld. And that's what they were using. They wanted them to be able to see in the future. They wanted clairvoyance and be able to see 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, 50 years into the future, and then try to anticipate what our war needs would be. Yeah, so check that out.
Project Arkweld.
Huh?
I thought it was Stargate, to be honest.
Stargate's the remote viewing.
Yeah, Stargate's the remote viewing. This is where they were taking lay people that had clairvoyant abilities, testing them, and then having them view the future. Yeah, Arkweld. I say. Arkweld. Yeah. I'm getting confused all of a sudden here.
This is why I love Nerds Nerd.
Oh wait.
Yeah, nerds, don't be such a stranger. You're welcome here anytime. Richard Doty, the UFO Society trader.
Fair,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yep. He's the one being interviewed talking about it. Yeah,
That's
Richard
fair.
Doty. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that guy if he swore he was lying.
I don't know who Richard Doty is.
Don't waste your time.
He was a disinfo agent for the government for the UFO phenomenon.
Okay. Do we move on to pantheism?
Sure.
Now define pantheism, please.
Yes. Pantheism, in a most broad sense, is just the idea that there are multiple gods and that you worship multiple gods for different things, often relating to facets of nature and the world and things such as. However, I believe the conspiracy theory is either saying that that's how the world works, but I doubt it's that. I think it's just saying that pantheism or pantheistic ideas or pagan ideas are prominent in elitist rings and elitist circles and like the wealthy and people like that, which I think it's safe to say, not all of them, but a good chunk of them.
Here's our horseshoe. Oh, sorry, it wasn't my turn.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I don't think it's true, but I think a lot of powerful and rich people believe it's true. Or at the very least want to pretend that they believe it's true, but a good chunk of them clearly do.
Pan is where I cook my eggs.
So you're a frying pantheist?
I'm a frying pantheist. Exactly.
That's an old one. Careful with it, it's an antique.
Yep. Raven, do you have anything to say about this, or do we move on to other stuff?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Intelligent design. This is less of a conspiracy theory and more of just a very, very, very common philosophical idea that the universe and the world and everything that exists was created with purpose, and that's basically it. Not really a conspiracy theory.
You could be right, Raven, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Polytheism is just that there are multiple gods. Pantheism is that gods exist within, or divine exists within nature, and that the gods are related directly to specific facets of nature. I should have clarified. But yeah, you're right.
So the hotel was in Montreal, and it was called the Queen Elizabeth. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Oh, just what Off Grid Gaming is talking about the UFO sighting from the late 70s, early 80s, early 80s, where there was a UFO seen over the Queen Elizabeth Hotel in Montreal, and it just sat there and obscured it, and it went away. It's very famous.
Mhm.
But it was seen as lights, so could have been anything. And don't forget, we had at the time an American Air Force base 10 miles south of the city. You know what I mean? And to this day, you still can't go onto that territory. So, UFO,
Really?
test craft, you know what I mean?
Well, your Canadian Minister of Defense, Paul Hellyer. Are you familiar with him?
Yep. Not personally, but I know of him, and I know what he says, and I don't know if I believe him or not, but he says a lot of interesting stuff.
Well, I mean, why would he lie about something like that? I mean, he
Why
didn't.
would people lie about anything, Raven? People lie. It's the human nature to lie.
But I mean,
Or
the
either
fact
think
that
for
do that?
profit,
Just go on the internet and tell lies?
or for just feeling better about themselves. And some people are damaged in that way. That's why you can't believe what everybody says, and you need
But-
proof.
he's such a man of high repute of the government, why would he risk
wait,
ruining
Raven.
his reputation by
What
going into this whole
reputation?
UFO alien thing?
Raven,
Fair.
Raven,
Fair.
the majority of Canadians had never heard of him until this happened. Paul Hellyer was a minor functionary in the government at one point.
Still, he was a government dude. Why would he risk his reputation bringing in something that most people scoff at? You
Who
know,
knows? Maybe
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so taboo.
Why would anybody ever lie ever? People just don't do that.
Well, about this, that would be a detriment, not a benefit. He's not
Maybe
wasn't
it's a
making any
psyop.
money off of it. I mean, why would you willingly try to sabotage your reputation and put yourself up and out there for public ridicule? Why would you do that? You wouldn't, unless you're absolutely batshit crazy.
And maybe he was a victim of a psyop or a security test to see if he would actually reveal things, and he proved himself unreliable to the security system by showing up and going, I read these documents that said this. We don't know. But we can't
That's
take
it. I never thought of that, Bear. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
really-
they do that all the time. They do that all the time. That's one of the systems they use for testing security system, is
Mhm.
basically giving you information that seems extraordinary and seeing if you'll go spout and go talk your mouth off or keep your mouth shut. You ever seen that episode of Star Trek The Next Generation? Where the Romulan ambassador shows up because he's discovered a plot within the Romulan Empire to invade the Federation, and it turns out it was all a fucking psyop by the Romulans to basically test his loyalty. The writers didn't make that shit up. That shit happens all the time in the halls of power.
You can't prove that.
And you can't prove what he saw what he says
I'm
he
just
saw.
playing devil's advocate just because
I
that's what
know,
you would say to
But
me.
I'm playing devil's advocate back to you. I don't take everybody at face value. I listen and then go, okay, I'm going to need some proof, not just your word. My mother claims she saw a burning ship in the Baie des Chaleurs when she was a child, a ghost ship. Okay, I believe she thinks she saw it. Doesn't mean it was there. You know? It's fun to dive into this stuff, and it's fun to discuss it and entertain it and believe in this much more magical universe than may actually exist. And that I love. But when it comes down to saying stuff is 100% real, you need 100% verifiable, testable proof.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
amen.
Mhm.
But I want to go back to that disinformation thing. I'm gonna start like using that a little more often. You know, like the Bob Lazar thing and
I was
stuff
just
like
thinking
that.
about Lazar. Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
The fact that
Get out of
Bob
my head.
Lazar is still drawing breath into his lungs shows that he's mostly full of shit.
Right. But like I said before, you know, if that was true, excuse me, the government would shut that shit up. Raven and I have a mutual friend who makes these amazingly absurd claims. And if even one was real, he would never have been allowed on YouTube for a nanosecond.
Wait, do I know this person?
You used to.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Is it me?
No. He was our favorite dinner time comedian because everybody at the table was laughing their ass off.
I don't know who this person is, and I don't care. The black goat of the woods with 1,000 young. No more need be said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all into this goat thing, man. Just trying to worry about you guys.
You're off on Cthulhu,
Goat.
man. We're just having fun.
Oh no, I know. When I think goat these days, I think greatest of all time now. You know, and my complete works of H.P. Lovecraft is within arm's reach, and my mind's not
Now
going
you
there.
understand how this happened, right? Basically, the Shibnugarathians have manipulated the media to make goat take on a different meaning, so that people say goat all the time, thereby providing power to their god Shibnugarath, the goat of 1,000, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young, thereby eventually bringing it around. See, don't you understand how this works, Shadow? That's how it works.
Nerd. Damn. I got to put this up and leave it up for a while.
I see it. I invented a warp drive. That's good.
The fucked up part is, I think that sentence is exactly 100% correct. I'd have to go back and watch a couple episodes, but just saying. Wow.
What do you want? This cat.
World domination, world.
Staring at me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you
All right. The next one isn't a conspiracy at all. It's just a fact. L.A. oil rigs.
Yep, seen them.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just here because it's kind of an interesting thing.
What is it? I don't know. I'm not in. What does it mean?
Downtown Los Angeles and elsewhere, there are buildings that look like ordinary buildings, and they're just oil rigged inside for whatever reason.
It's because
I saw an article about that years ago. Yeah.
it's because the city doesn't want to have like a bunch of oil rigs in it, like making it not look nice or whatever. So they say that in order to have oil rigs running in the city, you need to hide them behind buildings, empty buildings. I don't think there's any. Like clearly, there's no deeper meaning behind it. It's just city politics and wanting their city to be nicer, even though they don't do anything about the other problem.
Clearly, they gave up on that with the tent villages.
Oh yeah, no, different administration clearly, or just they have their priorities really, really wrong. But at least it shows they cared at one point. Ghost Girl. I don't think that's relating to anything specific. I think it's just the concept of ghost women. I don't think much is to be said about that, unless one of you.
Thanks, Brock. Appreciate that.
No, I have nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Raven.
No, nothing.
Okay. Operation Fishbowl. From what I'm aware, it was involving nuclear weapons
Yes.
and launching them.
Yeah.
Into
the sky, nuking
Really
the
knew it.
actual sky.
Yep, just blowing them off. It was 1962.
And the name comes from the visual effect. It literally made portions of the sky look like a big fishbowl in the sky.
Very cool.
Is it any wonder no intelligent life has ever come to visit us?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we did that.
Hey, what's up, Anon?
Hello.
What's next, man?
Archdemons and archangels. I don't exactly know why that's a conspiracy theory, but within most Abrahamic religions, at least, the concept of archangel, or I think at least in Christianity, there's only one canon archangel. I could be wrong about that. I don't know
Michael?
exactly. Yeah, Michael. I don't know what the deuterocanonical books say about that, and I don't know what things like the Book of Enoch and those books say about it either.
Yeah, there's not a lot of angels named in the Bible. It's true.
Yeah, and I
It's
definitely
like
don't
half
know
a dozen top.
if that.
The majority of the
Go ahead,
names
Ray.
come from the Book of Enoch, but
Yes.
you'll have the main 3 or 4. You have I don't even think Uriel is mentioned in the Bible now.
Not
But
in
you have
the
Gabriel,
not in the Protestant
Michael,
Bible.
and Raphael. Raphael comes from the Book of Tobit. Uriel was the main guide for Enoch. I don't know if I don't think he's mentioned in the King James
So we've
version.
got Gabriel, Michael,
Oh, but there's all kinds of them.
Uriel,
There's Barochiel, there's
Raphael, Satan,
Cocriel, Stariel,
Kemuel,
Raziel,
Azrael, Camael, Haniel,
yeah,
Jophiel,
Haniel,
and Sadikiel.
yeah,
There we go. There's our biblical angel names.
yeah.
Yeah, I think nerds is better topic. Why do clothes have ghosts? And why do ghost clothes haunt the ghosts of the person who was wearing them?
Oh, I know the answer. I know the answer. Because ghosts aren't fucking real, and people make up shit in their minds and then report it.
Okay.
That's the reason why ghosts have clothes.
Could be.
You know, lots of people died in the 90s, but you don't see any hauntings where they're running around in fucking Dayglow, fucking extreme rollerblades. You know what I mean? It's always Victorian era or Civil War era or World War II era. It's never 30 years ago. I guess the ghost industry just isn't what it used to be.
Actually, you know what? I was looking at a book called Haunted America, and there's actually this Toys R Us in California I wanted to visit, and there was an actual child that was running around in modern day clothing, but I still.
It's fine if you have a modern day child because that's creepier. But imagine just like no one's gonna talk about a ghost encounter where the kid is yelling about like a skivvy toilet and Riz and stuff like that. That's not gonna happen.
I walked down the aisle. It was 2 a.m. I was doing my night patrol, and there he was, 10 years old, pitching a fit about a Nintendo. Scary little bastard. Come on, man.
And there's
That
also
would be more believable
Snindlepron.
and very funny. All right, here's one that I don't know what you guys will say about it. The Philosopher's Stone.
Raven, you want to take this one, Raven?
It has to do with alchemy. It's also called the Tintamanai Stone. And Rourke went looking for it. R-O-A. He's a painter, but he was also a friend of Roosevelt. And it was him and Roosevelt, and who was the guy that's in charge of agriculture right before the Dust Bowl happened in the 30s. Crap, his name. Anyway, they were dead set on trying to find the Chintamani stone, which is the Philosopher's Stone, and he sent Rourke over to Tibet, in fact, to look for it because that's where they thought it was. And there's some letters that have survived, the 3 of them talking about trying to find this Philosopher's Stone. It would change the properties of other chemicals than in hopes of creating gold. That's what they wanted it for. Go ahead.
Archangels. Megatron. The gods Metatron.
Metatron.
Megatron. I like Megatron.
Hey, where'd the boy go?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
I'm alive. I'm not dead yet. You're not fooling anyone, you know.
You need power? Okay, let's quit.
Where'd you go on the phone?
Tonight's the part of Jackie will be played by me and me by him.
Yeah, you're
What's going on?
fired.
We're playing musical host.
Do you guys need like an extra charging cord or something? What's going on?
Yeah, we're having power issues.
Oh, you are in California.
Yeah. One charger is powering the entire house right now, it seems.
Thank you, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, our good friend RPG Grandma's had 2 power outages in her area, that has forced her to empty her refrigerator twice in like a month.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine that? And I will bring the little guy in.
Uber Alice, California, Uber Alice. I'm the governor, Pete Wilson, you know, the baddest governor to ever grab a mic and go, boom, give me a budget, watch me hack it. Show me a beat, I'll show you how to jack it. All right, you back?
Yes, and I left
Otherwise,
my
I can keep doing Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy all night long.
Hold up, can you get my notebook? Or your notebook?
I'll be right back.
Raven, get his notebook. In the meantime, we learned that Australians can't break dance. That was kind of cool, right?
We are so damn professional.
Ah, it tells you. Because I'm sure
There
that's
he
what
is.
people are tuning in for, the professionalism of this podcast.
Yeah.
No.
All right, ready for the next one? Or are you still?
Yes.
Okay. My red is not your red. My red is not your red.
Yeah.
This is
fair.
clearly what happens when you smoke too much weed. You come up with ideas like this.
No, it's something I studied in college. It was a part of our communications theorem. Was discussing how to describe things, and then at one point in time, you're asked to describe the color blue to a blind person, and you can't. You cannot describe the color blue to a blind person, which means science tells us through the cones and everything in our eye, rods and cones in our eyes, we all see things the same way. But there are colorblind people. There are people who, in Russia, I think it is, they can see different shades of white that we don't see in the West. They can actually see them. Or there's something like that. It was a study they did. So there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of theoretical scientific concept to back up the idea that what you see as blue, it may not be the exact same thing I see as blue. Odds are it is, but we can't say 100% for sure because I can't see through your eyes and you can't see through mine. That's all.
Yeah. I think it's something that just straight up could be true, or it could not, and it doesn't really matter. Like, it's cool, I guess, but it's not like it. It's not like it. Finding out if like people see colors differently is gonna.
Yeah, like whoop-de shit. What is that gonna fix? Right?
Yeah.
No one dropped me. Drop bears are a myth they tell in Australia, Mac, about these vicious koalas that live in the trees called drop bears that will attack you. And it's like snipe hunting in the US, right? It's the same idea. You just scare the guy who's not from there into being careful in the outback because a drop bear might get him. It's like the kangaroo, the fish that supposedly swims up your urine and then nestles in your urethra, which is absolute horseshit, never been proven. It's the same type of idea. It's one of those regional myths. But the drop bear, I swear to fuck, Australians that I have known, friends, people who are actual friends, you bring up drop bears and the switch goes in their head and they're like, nah, mate, they're real, 100% real, 100% real. I'm like, you get a fucking check from the government every time you say this? Like, what the fuck, Australia? So drop bears are just one of those things. Now, what's next after colors?
After colors, vampires.
How the fuck did I get the center square? Vampires.
Yeah, Decky needs to switch everybody around.
Oh yeah. Shadow, you go
You're fine.
last.
Shadow, you go last. Live. No respect from your own offspring.
Actually, Bear, you wanted Raven to go first, right?
Yeah, Raven on top.
Yeah.
Young lesson for you, boy. Always put the ladies on top.
Not touching that one. Not touching that one.
Wait,
Not either. Okay. Vampires. I think they're real. But they're not the Hollywood. They're not. It doesn't have all the attributes that Hollywood has given them. I did a deep dive into vampires 2 years ago around Halloween time for a radio show, and I got down some deep, deep rabbit holes. And I got on some websites I probably shouldn't have. There's some dark, stuff, really, really, really dark stuff that I wish I didn't know. It's one of those things where I couldn't get it out of my mind for a while. But the what I had discovered was that there was now I can't prove any of this. This is just the lore. Uh, now there you have your people out there that are like vampire wannabes, and they file their teeth and they go to certain clubs and they glamorize this little make believe life that they've created, pretending to be vampires. And then there are those that are real vampires. Now they're not immortal, but they do have a longer lifespan. And I think that's where the whole, dare I even say this, the whole adrenochrome thing comes from. And it does have, probably because of the stem cells, some life rejuvenating qualities. And that's why some of the elites way back in the day used to like to bathe in blood because it was supposed to be good for their
So like
complexion.
Dick Clark was a vampire?
So what? What'd you say?
So Dick Clark was a Dick Clark, American Bandstand?
We'll go
I
about
can't
that.
take any vampire named Dick seriously.
But it started that they are kind of considered part of the human family tree, and that due to a cataclysm, they had to survive on blood and cannibalistic, things, and then they got rid of the cannibalistic part and just was able to feed on the blood. But that some consider them an extraterrestrial that came here and just lived in the shadows and hunted humanity. Others say they're part of the human tree and they went underground and had to feed on blood, and they still that their bodies then the whole part about the sunlight not being able to go out in the sun is after feeding on the blood and so forth, it changed a lot of their biology, their chemistry, their genes, whatever the hell, and they don't turn into a pillar of salt or sand or whatever the minute they hit sunlight, but they can't be in the sunlight. They burn really, really easily. So they avoid the sunlight entirely. Because of the melatonin or something in the skin is off or non-existent now or something to that effect. So that's what I discovered. Now, I don't know if any of that is true or just utter bullshit. I have no idea.
I do think the idea of like vampire stories being an allegory for stuff like that is actually, well, maybe not 100% true. Like there's probably some like genuine theories or genuine stories that are like, oh, it's like not meant to be an allegory, but that is actually a fascinating idea.
Well, you said they might be aliens. Therefore, all I can say to that is, I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Ha ha ha. Sorry. Vampires are bullshit. It's bullshit. It's folklore and myth from Eastern Europe and other places. It ties into when people were buried alive and things like that. We can track the origins of the myth in every place it shows up until post 1800s Bram fucking Stoker, and then vampires are everywhere in the world all of a sudden.
Well,
and that's
okay,
the thing.
but the Union General Grant had a vampire hunting service for real after the Civil War.
Yeah, good for him. He was capitalizing on the fucking the gullibility of people who believed in vampires, and his guys went out, they got paid, and then they came back and went, yeah, we killed them, they're vampires real good.
They believed, that was
what did P.T. Barnum say? There's a sucker born every minute.
So Barnum said that, and then Bailey showed up and added the and two to take him.
Here. Yeah.
I'm not denying you went down deep holes on the internet, but I've gone down some deep holes on the internet and seen some shit that's categorically bullshit. You know what I mean? Any asshole can put anything they want on the internet, and you can make it look like it's accredited. You can make it look like it's footnoted, and all that fun stuff. You can do all kind of footnote. What's the when you put the sources? What's it called? Bibliography. You can do all that crazy shit, but it doesn't mean it's real. You know, Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter. Thank you, Cal.
Yeah,
it's just like
that's what that's based on. Is that
skinwalkers and all this shit? It's not real. We would like it to be real because then the horrors that humans do to each other would be explainable. Because then it's less us feeding on ourselves. That's what scares us.
Well,
Who said anything about adrenochrome harvesting? What the fuck? How did we get to adrenochrome? From vampires?
I said, I think that's where it comes from.
mentioned it.
Oh, I missed that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my own theories dating back to the human sacrifice and things like that. That that was probably how it was discovered, and through generations and what have you. People found out that you could do such things and gain at least the high or some benefits. But, real, fanged folk walking around at night looking for their next victim. I don't know, man.
But there's some of the royals in Germany like to bathe in, and they believe that it was a good skin, rejuvenated their skin and so forth.
Well,
are you talking about the Countess Bathory thing, which is Hungary? Is from Hungary.
Hungary, okay, sorry.
It's one person, Bathory, and she got fucking.
No, there were others. There were others. I mean, she's one of the more famous ones.
Yeah, Europe had a lot of royal families. They were everywhere.
And they were kind of inbred, which made them kind of fucking crazy. Look at the Habsburgs.
Okay, the Habsburgs.
The Austro-Hungarian Empire.
At the time of Austria-Hungary, the Habsburgs were fine.
No, they weren't. They had the Habsburg chin. It was like painted
they didn't
everywhere.
Have you seen? Franz Joseph didn't have the chin. Maximilian didn't have the chin, and neither did Karl.
Okay, so they got some outside blood in there. Good for them.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
How do you think, Bear, it is a reference to the water of life which Herbert took from human history? I have no idea what we're talking about off-grid gaming, but I love the fact that you brought up Dune. Anyway, I don't believe in vampires. Do you, young Jackson?
Do I believe in vampires?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool. Because there is a type of vampire you're going to meet the older you get. She's called a psychic vampire, and she's going to move into your life and fuck shit up and leave you drained and empty, so be careful.
That's a very different beast, but yes.
There are psychic vampires.
That I think comes up in a very interesting way here.
Okay.
Very deep down. The next one, aura. I have no idea what that meant.
Other than you can see people's auras and read people's auras, maybe?
Aura is like your energy field. When you're alive, everything that's alive has an aura. It's like it's a light. Psychic people can see colors, which will denote your mood or your state of health. But if a good way to practice to see auras is go out and stare at a tree and just let your vision kind of just have you ever just like stared at something for a really long time and it just kind of becomes hazy? Okay, then you'll be able to see. It's like a translucent, a see-through, like just a white light that's around everything. You can pluck a flower. They've Kirlian photography will show.
Kirlian.
Thank you.
Photography.
Yeah, will show like if you take a leaf or pluck a flower head off and put it down there, you can see the aura around it. It's just like the energy field, your heat, just the fact that you're alive, has an energy signature and it's where it's coming off of you. Some people have a great big one. Some people have a little one. Ones that are more compact or more unhealthy, either unhealthy or very negative. What are you laughing about?
Well, if my aura is a little one, can I just blame it on shrinkage?
Oh, okay. I thought you were laughing at what Nerd said.
No,
they're total asshole psychic vampires instead.
We just call them narcissists.
Way cooler than what they are. Okay, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear about what they gave when they gave the LSD to the dolphins?
It's your energy field.
I don't believe in auras, but that's okay.
It's your energy field.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mac's comment. LSD helps you see auras. Other than that, I got
That's how
nothing,
I learned
man.
to see him.
I would like to say for the record, if you hallucinate on magic mushrooms, it's self-inflicted. I have done epic amounts of magic mushrooms in my day, and I've never seen something that wasn't there ever.
It is there. You can, and you can see it with
LSD.
Carillion photography.
LSD will make you see shit that's not there, and so will what's the ketamine?
It's provable by science.
DMT.
PCP.
DMT. No, I don't know about PCB, but DMT will make you see shit that's not there.
I've
But
not done
mushrooms?
magic mushrooms. No,
Magic mushrooms
and I
just
can
make
see
you
your
really,
aura from
really,
here.
really, like they blow open the doors in your mind and start to higher theory.
Yeah,
I
don't
can
do
see your
drugs
aura
and
right
stay in
now.
school, kids.
Yeah, drugs are
Yeah, stay in
cringe.
school. Don't do school. Stay in drugs. I mean, yeah.
Based. Francis Levy's handprint. In France, there was a firefighter who died in a firefighting situation, but he left a handprint that supposedly, I'm pretty sure it was basically proven that it happened. It was old, so obviously it might have been embellished a little, but his handprint was left on a window, and they couldn't get it off, and they tried a bunch of things to get it off, and they couldn't get off, and it became like a local attraction or whatever. People would go and see, oh, the magic handprint or whatever, and then a kid threw a newspaper at it, and it broke.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of theories as to why it didn't come off, like his spiritual.
Yeah, why it's on this list is a bigger mystery, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
There's all kinds of weird stuff like
it
this.
happened. Like, I'm not denying that it happened, and I don't know why it happened. There's probably a scientific explanation, but it's a cool thing. I don't. It makes if I was making this list and I knew about it, I'd put it on there. The next one, Bohemian Grove. At this
it's
point,
real.
it's basically been proven not only that it exists, but that they do weird stuff there. I
Yeah.
guess
Did you see
we
there's
don't know the
another
extent.
group of guys got in with the camera? Did you see that recently?
I really
No.
didn't know.
So we had the old Alex Jones grainy footage.
Yeah, right.
And recently, some young guys got in there with drones and some high definition footage and stuff. It's really kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They
Did they see
worship
anything
this owl
Or was it the same
statue
thing?
that they call Moloch. And Moloch, you'll find in the Old Testament, it was Moloch had a head of a bull, and it's what the Jews used to sacrifice the babies and other animals and things to back in the day, back at the temple.
Yeah. Well,
Before it was
Moloch
destroyed.
might not be an actual demon. It might just be a name for the word used for sacrifice.
No, it
But
was a
either way,
bull.
it's,
It had
it's,
a
either way, it's
bull
referring to the
head
same
and a
thing.
human
It's just
body.
a ball. It's either just sacrifice or another name for ball.
No, there's Baal. There's Baal. That was one of the gods, but Moloch was the bull. It had a head of a bull on a
Bull?
human body.
Ball is also a bull.
Huh?
Ball is also a bull. I think if they are if they're considered separate entities, it's just like a whole Zeus and Jupiter thing. Probably the same
You're
being.
fucking with my pineal gland. I gotta put my pineal gland. There we go. My pineal gland is now shielded from your horrors.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, Bohemian
Yeah, he
Grove doesn't
does,
really
Mac.
deal with bull head imagery. They deal with owl imagery.
They have an owl they call Moloch. But in the
Did they actually call it Moloch? Really?
they call him Moloch, and
Well, then
And
they're
they
just
do
stupid because
the
Moloch was never an
cremation
owl.
of care.
yeah, the cremation of cares ceremony.
Yeah, why would they
Um,
call it Moloch if it's an owl?
I don't.
Because as things travel, they change as they interact with other cultures. It's amazing how that shit
Yeah.
happens.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Jupiter
Bohemian
Zeus.
Grove was made by a bunch of like pretentious elites. You'd think they would know what they were talking.
Have you looked at the road maps of Washington?
Good point. Yeah, never mind. They were just dumb.
No. There's road maps that have literally lay out an owl sitting on top of a pyramid.
Wait.
And that's how the roads are laid out in Washington.
Oh,
Roads are
really?
laid out- Oh, yeah, go Google that one at your leisure and look at all the weird shit that's in the road layouts in fucking Washington.
Huh.
For some reason, the elite occultists of America are really into owls, which always makes me think of what Anonymous just
Well,
said.
that's
which is,
Minerva.
owls are
Minerva
they-
is the goddess of wisdom, and her
Yeah, she's not the
is
only one,
represented
though.
as an owl. But there's also Lilith
But they,
also had two owls pictured with her on either side of the wall relief of her.
yeah, I remember the show, dude. Trust me, I'm there. The Black Lodge and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And if you see the second series, you'll learn about tulpas. It's really fun. No, it's true. I mean, that's the thing. David Lynch dove into a lot of this stuff in Twin Peaks. But also,
Alright.
owls are the most common misrepresentation of memory for people who claim to have seen gray aliens. They remember an owl being at the window, or they remember seeing owls in the yard.
Fourth Kind. Yeah. Did you see that
Fourth
movie?
Kind was horse shit. That movie was horse shit. The stories it was based on was horse shit, but it doesn't change the fact that before the Fourth Kind, which is where they got it from, there were tons and tons and tons of reports of owls. And even Whitley Strieber talks about it at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nerds Nerd hit it right on the head. Owls
Yeah.
represent wisdom and are mysterious creatures of the night, so of course pretentious douchebags and secret societies relate to it.
That's honestly, that's probably a big reason for most of it.
hmm
Obviously, some do believe it, but you know. All right. Given that we're fairly halfway in, and
God, this tier never ends.
yeah, no. I say we do a part 2 next week to
Yeah.
finish it.
Next,
But I might as well
what's
finish
today?
off the page. Also, because I
Next week? I gotta look at my schedule.
oh yeah,
Go ahead.
whenever your schedule allows it. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
basing it off of what we vaguely know. Lost Civilizations is kind of a boring one to end on. Paranormal beings.
What else you got?
I mean, Lost Civilizations is just kind of an introductory thing. Profession. That's not. Okay. I'll just mark it down. I want something interesting to end on, and something tells me at least one of you will have something fun to say about this. Gang stalking.
Gang stalking?
Yes.
Do none of you know
The
what it
idea
is?
that gangs stalk people?
No.
No,
Well,
it's the
yes and no.
people who are getting
Go ahead.
too close to the truth get followed by government agents or whatever, and their proof will be like, well, I saw a car heading in the same direction as me, and I saw a person 2 times today, and I've never seen them before. Or I keep seeing this person around me. They're clearly a Fed. Or a car parked near my house. They're a Fed. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's often some people chalk it up to something akin to paranoia, while other people in the realm of investigating things they shouldn't investigate, or some people would say they shouldn't investigate, start seeing reoccurring people and mysterious people that appear to be following them and keeping track of them and things like that. Personally, I think it's just more than likely a bit of self-delusion and a little bit of paranoia.
Yeah, I'm being cat stalked, so I can't talk about it. I keep seeing these fucking cats, and they're always looking at me all the time. All the time. Yeah, I don't believe in it. I think people are paranoid as a general rule, and I think there's a fragmented part of our brain or of our society of people who want to believe they're special, and they will invent things, see things to make themselves special.
Yeah, I've never heard of the octopus murder conspiracy. Mac, you'll have to elaborate.
Okay. Well, I think this is a place to end it off. 3 hours is good, I think.
And it is a school night for you,
Yeah.
man. So thank you, everybody, for stopping by and playing along. This is fun. When we come back, we'll finish Tier 2 and then go into Tier 1 when everybody can make it. Next time, we'll put up the announcement sooner than the last minute, so you guys can, schedule hanging out with us because we really appreciate this. This is a lot of fun. Let's give it up to the little guy for coming up with the idea.
Yeah.
Uh, you really showed off that big brain of yours. And let's see, the government wants to wreck your day. They have much more effective means that have people be near you sometimes.
That's a good one.
Occasionally.
Thanks, OG. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll be back in about 2 weeks. And if you want, we'll try to find a way to share the iceberg image so that you can, either follow along, do your own research, or go back on topic. And if there's, something you'd like us to clarify or something like that, leave us something in the comment section later. Or if you want like images or links to things like that, make sure, you let us know, and we'll try to oblige you.
And remember, no matter what, we all actually like each other, and we can disagree because we're adults.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. Other folks have done stuff like this, but we wanted to give a nice, weird, eclectic mix of different opinions. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. And you know what? We're still going to hang out with each other whenever we can and give each other a ration of shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd be
Got
wrong
it.
to do anything else.
Plus, someone asked earlier what we thought about Linda Moulton Howe. I don't, because we have Raven. She's our Linda Moulton Howe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. So, with all that said,
I just saw that, George. I just saw that. I'm working on it. I actually watched Outland today, and I'm going to watch Zardoz tomorrow. If there's any other Sean Connery sci-fi movies I have yet to see, let me know.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Captain Jack. You
There
look really amazing tonight, by the way. Love your tie.
Thank you.
Always dresses up and looks so nice for these things.
All right, Bear, I do want to ask you something when the show's over. So,
Sure.
Yeah. And to everybody else, good night.
Good night.
I don't know.